Good evening, Randomania. This is your host, Dark Moon EX, joined in the booth by Gregglypuff and Ale Markin and maybe Dangwoo, who's hanging out with us. Don't know if he's going to be talking right now. We are bringing you another fantastic weekly presentation of the Duckling Boot Camp. I'm going to send it over to your hosts right now. Greg and Ale, why don't you take it away?
Hey, what's going on? Ale, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right for a Sunday. How about you, Greg?
I can't complain. Sunday's been going pretty well for me. Just been kind of hanging out and enjoying, just everything. Pretty decent day. I'm excited to go over these flags. They're gonna sound pretty familiar to some people that have been around to watch some of the Swiss tournament stuff. So these flags may look familiar to you guys. So we're going to go over them here in just a sec. The weird thing that we're going to do today is that Dark Moon is going to be doing the running this time. So you and I get to actually talk. I know we get to actually talk about Dark Moon and make fun of all the plays he decides to do.
Oh, so many stupid
That's
plays.
my favorite part of doing the commentary.
There we go. I didn't have the browser set up, so I'm trying to get the browser set up right now so we can actually talk about the flags, gents.
No,
My bad.
Yeah. So
there we
before we even go into this, I know for sure that Entroper's been working on update. What exactly is happening?
So we're doing the site migration, so it supports the HTTPS, prefix for the web and everything like that. So your connection's more secure, all that good stuff. So I know they're looking at doing things, getting things redirected and whatnot. And the only thing that's failing at the moment is going to be live clicking to how we always do the weeklies. They go click here for the seed. At the moment, at least on beta, that's not quite working. So that's kind of what gave us a little bit of a hiccup tonight. So we're still doing a little kind of workaround for that, just to make sure things are working properly and smoothly. So
yeah, so we're gonna figure out how we'll post the flag tomorrow, or the Duckling seed. We'll just throw it. We'll figure it out. Something will happen. There will be a Duckling seed tomorrow. There will be no worries. But let's go ahead, as you can see, we're on the beta site, and we'll explain why we're on the beta site here in just a moment. But first things first, let's go ahead and start talking about these flags. So, Ale, I'll let you start with what's shuffled.
You know what? So let's change things up a little bit, actually. So I want to show off a nifty little feature for the beta site, because really a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight are kind of going to be echoed from the previous weeks. If Darkmoon can go ahead and click on that question mark right there next to that shops flag up top under shuffle.
I can do.
So on the beta site, also on the alpha site, hopefully coming soon, air quotes, to the live site, we have the tooltips. So if anyone's running this game, you want to kind of maybe play with the flags, or maybe you're looking at running a flag or a race that's been posted in like the race room, and you're not sure what something does and it's on the beta site for the time being, you can click that shaded out little question mark right there, and that brings you the tooltips. And that's kind of where we've been really pulling a lot of, at least for me, that's where I've been pulling a lot of my notes from for if I'm unfamiliar with what exactly a flag does mechanically on the back end. So that's kind of the quick and dirty way to go through everything and figure out what flags do what. So again, if you're on beta, you're on alpha, you're not sure what a flag does, hit that question mark, it pops up. I'd say it works for at least 98% of all the flags on there. Some of the newer ones may not have had tooltips written for them yet, but the vast majority of them do.
Yeah, and
it tells you...
Just to point on that as well, along with some of them not having tooltips because they're new, there are still a few of them that don't have an image that describes them yet, so if you do have a question about them, feel free to come into one of the Duckling channels and ask. One of the pros will probably know what a flag does, and if they still don't know and we can't figure it out, then that means that we definitely need an image for it.
Yep, exactly.
So,
first things first. So, shop shuffle. As we can see there, shuffles the contents of the weapon, armor, and item shops.
Sorry.
So it changes what shops have what items for sale. It does not add new things into the pool. The other little buttons underneath the shop's flag will do that, but we're not playing with those tonight. Keep in mind, with the shop shuffle, pure and soft potions will always be available in Canaria. You may not get heal pods, you may not get save items, but you'll always at least have pures and softs going forward for your seed.
That's worth also, just a comment, that's also worth highlighting the fact that Canaria, no matter what you do, is always going to be Canaria, is always going to be level 1 shops of any type, is always going to have those 2 items in there. It's basically always going to be exactly where you expect it to be, because your first level party, no matter what you do, has to be able to do something.
Exactly. So another familiar flag, magic levels. That's turned on again tonight. Again, it's kind of one of the OG flags. You know, it's kind of in everyone's little flag string for everything they run nowadays. Shuffles up the levels of the spells. Doesn't shuffle up what's sold at each magic shop. If you see it there, if it's in the right slot, you guys can learn it. You know, we've been talking about the red mage slots and the knight and the ninja slots for a couple of weeks now. So it really just goes down to what slot the magic is in there. Past that, you know what? Just keep on going. And yeah, Darkman, let's keep the let's close out that tooltip there, and we'll just go through that way. We can kind of speed it up a little bit. That way people can see everything all at once.
Absolutely.
All right, so RNG table turned on. So again, shuffles the RNG table as well as the battle RNG, changing encounters and your distances between your steps. So what's on the overworld, what's in the dungeon before you get into a fight. Under the enemies column, so enemy scripts are shuffled around, so shuffles those base scripts between all the enemies. And then the second flag that kind of plays off that top one is the enemy skills and spell shuffle. So that actually shuffles around what's in those scripts, so that's what gives different enemies all their different abilities and spells and skills and all that good stuff. The status attacks are shuffled around, so they've been pushed to other enemies. They may still get their vanilla, they may not. Again, we won't know until we run the seed. Past that, the enemy unrunnable formations are shuffled around as well. So you may not be able to run from, you know, everything like you could in the original game and vice versa. Surprise bonus is also shuffled up, so hey, maybe they'll have a higher chance of ambushing you, maybe they won't. Past that, shuffle rarity is turned on, so it kind of changes up like the group 1, the group 3, the group 7s, you know, all those wonderful encounter groups, they're all kind of jumbled up together, so maybe some of the vanilla, more rare encounters might become more common in the seeds that we run with these particular flags on. They may not. Again, it all depends on what the RNG does for that particular seed. Past that, kind of going back to what we did last week, we do still have the forced encounter tiles shuffled around, and we also have the random formations turned on with those. So it'll be just like last week. You might go and step on a trap tile, and you might happen to find the 3-eye pack. Or you might go step on a trap tile, you might get, you know, the Imp fight. You never know what you're going to find, so...
Yep. So yeah, and then I think that's pretty much it, right? I mean, we've got the Warmech here, is vanilla, so Warmech's going to obviously be on the Bridge of Destiny, hanging out, doing whatever Warmech does on the Bridge of Destiny. So if we go on ahead and move it down here, we got items shuffled. We're going to talk about what's shuffled. So all treasures in the game, everything that exists in a box normally in the vanilla game is going to be taken out of that box, put into a pool, and then put into different boxes. Maybe not even different boxes. I mean, it could end up in the same box. Who knows? We do have the better trap treasure on. It is, again, a flag that puts certain elite gear into specific trap treasure chests. So there's a big list under the links and what is it? Links and... Can't even think of what it's called. It's somewhere on the Discord.
If you talking about the better trap treasure,
yeah.
So in the Google Doc that was posted last week, I included it at the bottom of that. If you're just looking for on the actual randomizer site, if you click that little help button all the way up at the top, and then go down, I think it was done with the 3.0 update to the randomizer. Is where you can see that as it's written by the devs as part of the update changelog.
Dang was saying I should have been prepared. It's been a weird like 45 minutes, so I'm just trying to get my life together. A lot's happened since 9. So and then you got your main NPC items. So you know whatever the main NPCs are, like King, Sarah, Bicky, Robot. The vendor item, whatever items they typically have are going to be shuffled around, and then your fetch quest rewards are going to be shuffled too. So when you have the crown and you talk to Astos, that kindly old king, he's not going to give you the herb; he'll give you something else, or the crystal. I mean, he's going to give you something else. Same thing with Latoya; she's not going to give you the herb; she'll give you something else, and so forth and so on through that. So all that basically means is that every key item is going to be shuffled around when you talk to those key NPCs. Our freebies today, we got a free ship and a free bridge. Sounds like Twitch to me. Our locations today, you've got your main NPCs, of course, the people I just mentioned, as well as your fetch quest NPCs. Those people I also just mentioned. They are incentivized, which means that they will give you a key item. They will give you one of the items that is listed on the left column or the right column there, which I'll go over in a sec. You've got your ice cave, you have your ordeals, have your Titan Strobe, which makes the ruby very nice. So you can feed the Titan the ruby. You can go on ahead and check the chest in Titan's Tunnel and get a key item there. And then lastly, we went on ahead and chose Volcano because Volcano is probably one of the easier places to route when you're doing this particular flag set, just because you do have to go there. It's right there on Carrie's floor in the NRC. We decided that while we were putting this flag together that if we were going to choose a Fiend dungeon, we decided Volcano was probably going to be the best one for routing. Head over to items. You've got, of course, your main progression items, the stuff that I mentioned earlier. Up at the top, you'll see, as well as your other quest items. So, basically everything's listed up top there. You got your floater, you got your canoe. As you'll notice here, you will see that the ship and the canal are not checked, which means, just like in Swiss, canal is going to be loose somewhere. So it does not count towards your loose items total here. As you can see, 20 minus 18, that's 2 loose items. But the canal is inherently loose, which means you got to look for a loose canal plus 2 loose items. If that makes any sense. I mean, it should, because most people know what's going on with Swiss, but we're still, in case you don't know, I'm telling you now. Canal's loose, look for 2 more loose items, you're good to go. Then you got a tail. We've got Mass Immune. We decided to switch the Mass Immune out for the Thor's Hammer because we're trying to be a little bit nicer here. And then we have Opal Bracelet and Power Gauntlet, the Power Bonk, as they say.
Mm-hmm. So the big thing to touch on there, just to kind of provide some clarification, like Greg mentioned, because the canal is unchecked, it's not incentivized tonight. So it doesn't count as one of those incentive items. So if you find the canal in a box, you were meant to find it in that box. It still doesn't kick one of the other 2 loose items. It doesn't take place of one of those, I should say. So think of it just like this. You have the list there of those 20 incentivized items that are in the incentive pool, and then you have 18 spots. Canal's not listed there. It doesn't count as a loose item. Yeah, it's going to be loose. It's going to be most likely progression for you. It doesn't count. It's not going to come from a main NPC. It's not going to come from the incentive box in Ice or Deals Titans. It's not going to come from that incentive box in Volcano. It might be in Ice or Titans or Ordeal. Like, how they can be in Ordeals. But it might be in, Ice or Volcano, but it won't be in that incentive chest there. It'll just, hey, it's by chance it happened to land in this particular dungeon. So,
yeah. And the good thing about this, too, is you may not even need the canal. You can get the canoe and the floater in the inner sea and just be like, cool, no canal. I mean, it's unlikely, but it could potentially happen.
Yeah, exactly. And question in chat, if there's early floater, could canal be anywhere? I believe it still forces the canal to be in the inner sea where you can normally get to it area. It's not very common that you'll get canoe floater early. I think we saw only, a couple Swiss flags across all the different weeks of Swiss that we've been doing it, to where we had that and canal wasn't needed. So it definitely would be a rarity if you happen upon that in the particular seed that we're going to be running this week. But again, it's a possibility. But I believe that's right, though. The canal will be somewhere in that inner sea area.
I'd say out of the 202 races, I want to say not even 20 races had both canal and floater and canoe in the inner sea. So it's pretty unlikely that that'll happen. But yeah, let's go on ahead and move it on there. DM, we got the Chaos Rush, the Treasure Hunt, Temple of Fiends, all that stuff. That will be coming up soon. We will talk about this at some point. Not this week, because as you see, nothing's checked here. But I guarantee you, this will come up at some point. So let's go on ahead and keep it moving. And you can go on ahead and talk about, maps and prices and scaling and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so... the maps and routing, it looks a little bit different than what we're used to on the live site, just because the open progression is split up on this particular version. So in beta, you have open southern progression and you have open northern progression. Combined, it's still the exact same flag as open progression. They just wanted it split. Hey, maybe you only want the southern stuff open. Maybe you don't want the docks at Mirage and Onrak, or vice versa. Maybe you really don't want to be able to walk the dwarves, but you want to be able to get to Mirage and Onrak quick. So you can kind of split it up as you want with the beta site. We have them both on just because it's our classic open progression. That's what we had when we were playing the Swiss rounds for the spring tournament. So that's the closest you can get to replicating that. Again, so the southern progression is going to give you, it adjusts the mountains near Canary, so you can walk over to Dwarf Cave. It adjusts the lake system or the river system over there by in between Ice Cave and Volcano, so you can canoe from one end to the other pretty easy. And then your open northern progression is going to be the dock like we mentioned at Mirage and the dock that we mentioned at Onrak, so you can get to those ones. Beyond that, so early Sarda items, so you don't need to kill the vampire in order to get the item or have Sarda give you whatever he's holding in this particular seed. Early Sage, you don't need to kill Lich to get the Sage's item, and early Ordeals, you don't need the crown to get into the Pillar Maze. And then for our individual map edits or our isolated map edits, so we have the pillars, as is this tradition, are randomized, so the Pillar Maze, as everybody loves to call it. So it's not always the furthest one south in the room like it is in vanilla. This could be maybe the first pillar you come to in every single room. Titan's Trove, we have the Titan push to one cell west, so you cannot get to his little 4-pack of treasure chest boxes until you feed him the ruby. Then Left Finish Hospitality, we have an inn and a clinic in Lefane, just in case you want to save or maybe res somebody while you're down there. So past that, we have our scaling. So I believe scaling's been relaxed a little bit compared to our regular Swiss flags. So prices, I think we've kind of set it on 33 to 300, almost being standard, it feels like. I think we've seen that for, the third week in a row now. So prices are right around the same spot. Regular mobs, 67 to 150. And bosses are also 67 to 150, so no clamps this week. So maybe, Chaos and Tiamat, maybe they'll roll a little bit lower on that particular range than they did last week. Aside from that, our EXP and gold boost 2.5 times plus 250, and then you get from the Swiss the 0.5% per key item. So EXP might be a little bit lower in this particular seed than what I think everyone's been getting accustomed to over the past couple weeks. I know we've had a few veterans especially run the seed and be like, my goodness, I looked up and I was level 37 across the board. That probably won't be the case this week unless there's an amazing grind tile somewhere. And speaking of not being the case, unlike in Swiss, our overworld and our dungeon encounter rates are ticked down just a hair, so you may not necessarily get as many encounters, depending on what the encounter... I'm blanking on what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I think for this, you'll get 6 encounters per 200 and whatever steps versus the normal 8 that you would get.
Yeah, it's something like that. So in your when you do your hard reset or your soft reset, you depending on how those encounters fall inside of your step counters, you might get a front-loaded encounter table. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, brain, for working finally. Or you might get battles spread evenly through that encounter table. So it's again kind of just goes back to that RNG flag that was in the very first section we talked about, that shuffled RNG, and we'll see what we get tonight. So.
And then, there's not really much to talk about outside of this. You got open party. We haven't done anything crazy there.
Well, there is something more to talk about, Greg.
I know. I'm going to get there. and I'm going to get there. We're going to talk about it because there's a huge flag that we have turned on. And the reason why we're using beta is because we want to use this flag because it's an important flag. It is very popular now, and it hasn't gotten pushed to the live site yet. But everyone's excited about it, I'm sure. Oh yeah, Reese already knows what's going on. Let's go ahead and scroll it all the way down. Keep going. All right, we're under experimental. So as you can see here, down at the very bottom of experimental, you'll see random weapon bonus as well as random armor bonus. So we are doing what people affectionately called blurst items or blurst weapons, blurst gear. That means blessed/cursed. So either each weapon will roll a value. It could roll vanilla, but it'll roll a value between -5 and +5. And what that basically means is that, if it rolls, +5 or whatever, we'll just go with that because that's kind of easier math. It'll get 5 more hit, so it'll do 5 more damage than normal. It also does 10% more crit. Help me out here. Ale. You knew this.
So it's each percent of the bonus, and if Dark Moon will just click on that lovely question mark there because tooltips. So each bonus for weapons at least gives you 2 more damage per bonus, increases your hit by 3, and also increases your crit rate by 1.
Okay.
So if you have a +5, you get 10 more damage, 15 more hit, and 5 more crit. If you have a -5, it goes the other way. You'll be doing significantly less damage.
Yeah. And then I would assume the same thing for the armor bonus. You get like
Yep, I have it up right now.
bonus. Yep. And then reduces its weight penalty by a certain amount. So that's pretty awesome. So you will see that certain gear now that you may be like, you may have passed on, will be pretty good if you find like a silver dagger +5. It might actually be worth equipping.
Yeah, Blurs is definitely an interesting flag because you might find endgame gear for like 30 gold in the first shop if you happen to find like an iron armor +5 or chain armor +5. Any of those things can just be really kind of crazy and nutty to find. Aside from that, just to kind of clarify for chat as well, because they're asking, items don't roll in individually. So like if you find a gold bracelet +2, every single gold bracelet in the game will always be +2. You're not going to open a box and find like a gold bracelet +2, then you're going to buy one from a vendor as -4. It's not going to find one from a chest that's vanilla at 0. It's every single item across the board of that same item type or that same item instance, I guess, is going to have the same either bonus or curse to it.
Yep. So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's what we have going on as far as this. So imagine like Swiss, we've lightened it up a little bit. We got an incentive massa, we've turned down some scaling, and we have blurst gear. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think that the Ducklings will be super stoked about it. And it is definitely something, like I said before, that is really popular and expect to see it a lot more moving forward. Dark Moon is going to be our runner, so he's going to go ahead and show you how to roll a seed.
There we go.
No, I guess you've already rolled one, huh?
Oh, no, I just took whatever the browser randomly did, but give me number between 1 and 10.
17.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There we go.
Yep.
Select my
And
ROM.
All right.
Okay, ROM is now loaded in, and then I will click on Generate ROM. You will notice it actually says Generate ROM on the beta site to help clarify that. Click that.
So that was, we mentioned that last week, props to Jat for that one again. The other thing too with the site being migrated over to the new, architecture is you may have to recheck things like remember ROM at the top, so it may not keep all your initial settings. So it's probably worthwhile for what Darkman's doing here. Go down and check your fun % things just to make sure if you have any fun flags that you want to turn on, they're turned on. Yeah. So like if you don't want your tile flicker, make sure you turn that off. If you don't want...
Sorry for everyone who I just quickly sped past right there.
Oh, no, you're fine. So yeah, so that's a reminder for Darkmoon. So if you want to turn off that damage tile, please click that button for us and save our eyeballs.
Okay, I can do that for you, no problem. And I also made sure, I was actually just checking to make sure that the music was actually on, because I don't tend to play with music myself.
I don't either. I always keep the music off when I show.
Yeah, because I like to listen to my own game music tunes from OC Remix, so... Okay, I got the ROM. We are good there. Let me, first off, pause the music from Dan the Thief. There was that.
Okay. Hopefully that music was tolerable.
I know you guys in the booth can't hear it, but we were playing that music right there. I will load a new ROM. And I will unpause the game so we can... Yep, and there is music. Okay.
So I'm thinking we should do something fun tonight.
Sure, what do you want me... What are you going to torture me with?
I think we should leave it up to chat to pick at least 2 of our characters.
Okay.
All right, so
chat.
First 2. Go. First 2 people to pick a party member. That's what he's got to do. We got to
thief.
Thief, really?
Thief. Wait, we're gonna get something else.
Can we get something, at least one that's different there? I'll take a thief, but give me something else.
Black belt. There you go.
Thief, black belt. Okay, I'm also clicking on the ship and the bridge because we start with those. Thief, black belt. Okay, well that is going to make for a very interesting party. Thank you, everyone. Thief?
Do you have an answer for this question there, Ale? MBI, wondering about the blurst. Is every blurst value equally likely to be generated?
I believe with the vanilla settings that we have, with that particular flag set by itself, how we currently have them implemented, yes, there's an equal weighting across the board. So if you happen to find a lot of +5 gear, it's just kind of the luck of that particular seed. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think Retro Fanman at one point was considering doing like a scale to maybe weight things one particular way or another, but I don't know if that's been implemented in that particular way quite yet.
Okay,
I would
gentlemen.
probably do double red.
Well, I was thinking, well, if I was to play this party on my own, I am a big fan of the Fighter Thief Red-Black, because I like the balance and the ways that you can twist that party around depending upon how everything works out. Especially with Blurst. In this particular flag set, though, because we're doing this for Ducklings and to show stuff off, I was almost leaning towards doing a white-black just so we could show off various magic spells.
Yeah, that's fun.
Normally play white magic, but that seems like it's good for a training session. And we can be here forever if we care, so whatever.
Yeah, and on the other hand, too, I think we've seen enough of red mages over the past 2 weeks. So I think we've kind of talked the red mage slots down, basically down off of everyone's list now.
I know, right?
Yeah. Hopefully everybody knows all those things, those red mage slots. 1 and 3 at level 1, 1 and 3 at level 3.
Okay, someone give me a 4-letter D name.
Dean.
Already did Dean.
Oh,
late.
dang it. Dang, of course.
Dang, there we go. Thank you. Dang it is. So, Thief, Black Belt, White-Black. That is our party. You guys ready?
Right.
Someone want to hit the timer when I count off?
Yeah, let me find the timer button on this tracker here, and I will hit... Yeah, so I got it, so let me know when you're good to go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so as you can see, Dark Moon, first thing he's going to do is obviously head to town, going to check black magic out, because he doesn't really have to worry about white magic. Not good as far as attack spells, but he's got Warp, which is nice. Going to pick up Lock to make sure he can hit enemies in case they decide to roll high evade.
And I also bought it first, so I don't have to worry about accidentally warping myself.
Yep. And then we've got
okay, then.
Here we go.
Okay. Don't have to worry then.
Let's reroll.
Free speed is free.
Let's
go on ahead and just get rid of it.
Gee, it's such a good thing that we took the white mage here, because a red mage would we wouldn't have a lot of early offense with a red mage at this point.
No.
Yeah, so let's talk about a reroll for a second while he looks through some of the stuff. Actually, let's talk about the blurst real quick. As you can see, your wood stick has a +2 modifier, your wooden nunchuck has a +3 modifier, and your silver dagger has a -2 modifier, whereas the iron and the saber, of course, have no modifier there. So...
the saber's a +4, actually.
Yeah, it's a +4.
Oh, gosh, sorry, I'm blind. Saber's actually equipable by your thief, so I would definitely pick that up if you have the money.
I got the nunchucks first. I want to go double check what the end price is.
Yeah.
It's 8 off of 280. I am unlikely to be able to buy both, so the saber, off by 2. So saber is going to have to wait until I have more cash.
Okay. But it's definitely not a bad thing to pick up for that saber. Like I said, it is equipable. I think it's like the best gears your thief can actually.
Yeah, no, and especially with the plus on it. Yeah, that's fantastic right there. Caps are also normally I wouldn't buy caps, but because they're at a +3 right now, they're actually kind of tempting once I need to start getting armor for my guys.
I would definitely wait until you have some money before.
Exactly. I'm not doing anything with that until I have the money. So
yeah, so with the body armor, you get more absorb off of body armor per plus than you do if you do like a hat or glove. So that's really going to be that cap +3. I think gives you 4 absorb because the cap's just 1.
Yeah.
So I mean, 4 absorb, not terrible. I mean, it is what it is. But when
you're talking about how squishy a black mage is.
Yeah. I mean, right now your black mage is totally worthless. So he's gonna go on. He's gonna go on.
You know what? You're right.
Well,
there you go.
Worthless in the sense that he's probably, as of right now, I mean, the warp is fine.
Yeah, so I'll use them eventually, but right now I'm more concerned if anyone's gonna die, I want to keep the black belt and the white mage alive. I forgot to put a cabin out.
Yeah, so obviously want to save before you head in here because you never know what kind of stuff you're gonna get. We're gonna do the hard reset, and he's gonna burn off an encounter, then head back in. We're gonna check these 3 chests here, I'm sure.
Yep. So while Darkmoon's checking these chests, let's check a couple things. So we were talking about re-rolling. So if I had come in here With a Thief, Black Belt, Red, Black, I would have definitely re-rolled into the current party of Thief, Black Belt, White, Black. Just because I'm not killing things with Slow 2, Lock 2, Slow, and Warp. Level 1 with that Black Mage.
Ooh, big money, Wizard Stick. Dark Moon probably gonna warp out of here to because why not?
Oh,
get
you
the
actually
warp
want me to
code.
remember how to do something? Oh, and I don't have another cabin, so we're just gonna go straight up and fight now. Okay.
So a bunch of weights, I assume,
Well,
and then a fade.
I'll do chip damage with their punching just in case, like, somehow Fade low rolled, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you got that +3 Chuck on that Black Belt, so he might be doing a little bit of physical damage here at the start. So question in chat, what do you mean by re-roll? So this is something you might see runners do, is when they load into the game, they're going to pick their party comp, right? So we went Thief, Black Belt, White Mage, Black Mage. If you get up to that level 1 magic and you just decide, look, I like this party comp, but the magic I'm seeing here, I think I have a better comp for it that'll either make my early game easier, or maybe there'll be something I can better be suited for, or hey, maybe I want to take a gamble that certain magic will be Red Mage learnable. You just do a hard reset because you haven't saved your game. You've got to go back and remake your party, and that's what you're doing. Your reroll is basically just remaking your party.
Yeah, and the reason why you would re-roll is because the magic was pretty bad for your Black Mage, and to have that fade, to have that non-elemental white magic spell is huge.
Yeah, this is actually one of those times where, although I really want the Lock 2 and I want to see how the later spells shake out, but like a reroll if I didn't have the White Mage to get myself a White Mage would definitely be on the table.
Yeah, so we're going to see what the King and Sarah have. We got a Rod, so that gets us into Earth Cave. That's a go mode item, and we've got a Crystal, which is a turn-in for the Inner Sea, so that's going to actually be pretty nice. It's one of the checks you do in Swiss anyways to head over to Matoya, but it is nice to have the Crystal, so you don't ever have to go back into Matoya's cave again.
And that actually makes the Black Mage now slightly more valuable to me, because when I start doing dungeon checks, I don't actually have to, like, you know, wander off and so forth. Now, with that taken care of, and I got my health back, although I probably should have done that afterwards, he's dead. I'm not going to buy that.
You might want to bring him back to run from things in case you do have to do an early. Okay,
running, whatever. I will buy caps for a couple of my guys, though. Just in case. In case I don't find bracelets anytime soon, having any armor on my squishy dudes, and fine, just for you, I will buy.
No, you don't have to.
No.
You can buy the saber, just don't res your thief. It'll be
no,
fine.
not yet. Eventually, if I have to, if for instance, if I have to go into like Marsh Cave or something, that thief is going to come in handy.
So just to do a quick correction for chat, so with Blurst armor, it works a little bit differently than weapons. So body gear, so the chest armor, so iron armor, dragon armor, silver bracelets, things like that, those get 2 absorb per bonus from Blurst. If it's any other slot, so if it's the head slot, the shield slot, or the gauntlet slot, it's only +1 per bonus. So it's actually those cap 3s are really only give us 4 at the moment. So it's still better than 0.
Speaking of,
so let's just put it that way.
Yeah, you might want to actually equip that stuff. Dark Moon gonna do the obvious play here. Head over to Provoca and murder some pirates.
I got the money. I got some levels. May as well.
Yeah,
we got some fades, so
yeah, exactly. Got some great spells here. That heal 3's huge. We'll probably not need to pick up many heal pots through the rest of the game because heal 3 obviously is going to save a ton of time as far as healing outside of battle. And then you still have no good black magic. Wow, Stop I would pick up.
Black Mage.
Maybe
well, Stop is a power word, is it not?
No, Stop is the time elemental paralyzing spell that is multi-target.
Okay.
So it's a good spell when you don't have anything else.
Anything else for him to do, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just looking at these. Oh, Iron -1. Nope, that wooden I have is so much better now. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. When you're doing Blurst, you're going to end up thinking about checking the shops more often. I wouldn't check the weapon shops past a certain point in the game right now because it's not really necessary. But with Blurst on, it actually becomes necessary.
Hey, can you do me a favor after the pirate fight, Darkman?
What do you want me to do?
Whichever one you want.
Yeah.
So let's show something off real quick because this is kind of something that might throw some runners off, especially if Blurst is kind of the first thing that you're doing, or because we are kind of diving into it a little bit. So a screen that doesn't get used very often is the status screen. So if you're ever unsure what effect a piece of armor or a piece of weaponry has, you can go to the status screen and you can unequip the gear, then re-equip the gear, and you can see how it affects your stats. So the wooden chucks for right now. Without them on, we have 6 hit damage and 11 hit. If we go in there and we equip those wooden chucks, we now become 21 damage and 20 hit.
Not bad.
So yeah, so much better than 6 and 11. And then you can kind of do the same thing with the armor as well. And so that's where you can kind of see, especially with a lot of those middle tier armors.
Yeah.
Well, that's
like
unusable.
copper -5 that we're never going to buy.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure that does that negate itself?
I think it all but makes it worthless. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you have a negative from the last time I ran something like this and checked it, is the low end minimum. So if you have like I'm trying to think of something low, like the copper -5, it'll cap at 1 absorb.
Well, here, hold on. Let me not buy up my heal pot since I'm here and I've got a crap ton of money, and then let's go buy one and just find out.
Absolutely. So this is something we can test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I always thought it zeroed it out, so this is a perfect opportunity to clarify that for me in the process of showing it for everyone else. But I want my heal pots.
Copper either has it looks like chat is kind of all over the place.
Yeah, vanilla is 4, so.
It is 4, so yeah, it would. I'm interested to see what exactly will happen if you equipped a -5 4 absorb item.
So status right now, my white mage has 4 absorb, 55 evade, and we put on the copper -5, and is now 5 absorb and 44 evade. So did the evade go up? The absorb seems the same, isn't it?
So your absorb went up by 1 because you had 4.
Okay.
And your absorb went up to 5, and then you had 55 evade.
So it hurt the evade. It actually ruined it. Okay.
Yeah, so your evade dropped by 10, technically 11. It may just be a back-end rounding thing because of that -5. So
out the window of Sky Palace.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Go. Into the lava with you. I don't need you now.
It looks like it can't zero out. It's going to have at least 1 absorb.
But it can't ruin your evade.
Yeah, oh yeah. Absorb can definitely go down. But yeah, your 1 absorb is guaranteed.
So this would actually be a good battle to throw the stop out at, because if you get bad turn order, the pirates can still mess you up. So as you can see, stop going out. It's going to paralyze pretty much all of them, so they can't really do anything. That way, you will eventually get the good turn order and get that fade to come out and wreck these guys. If we didn't have fade early on, then stop would be key to get through this battle. Essential to get through this battle, because they can paralyze them all and then kind of, you almost pulled a dang strat there. Didn't talk to Bicky.
I've done that a lot. Old BK does not get talked to as often as he probably should in my seats. Okay. So now that we have the crystal, I'm going to go do that check next. I will probably hold off on doing the adamant until after we've checked out Elf, just to make sure that there's, not the TNT in the shop there or something to deal with as well.
Yeah, it's good routing, definitely to do this first too, because this could potentially turn into the TNT as well.
Can you kill him?
I'm hoping for the canoe here.
That'd be lovely. Then I could walk across the river system. That'd be lovely. Ugh, go away. I don't want to fight you. I said I don't want to fight you.
Yeah.
Why are you not listening? Big, thank you.
I mean, you could just throw some fades at them,
Yeah.
Run, fade, run.
We're already to the point where their experience doesn't matter to me. Well, there's a canal.
There's some canal. So,
all right,
Marsh Cave is off the table, huh?
Woohoo!
Or do you go to Marsh Cave
now?
I was gonna say, do you pull a Caleb and go to Marsh Cave?
I mean, if you want me to go to Marsh Cave, I will go to Marsh Cave. But on my own, I would not go to Marsh Cave.
Do not forget to use your warps in these situations.
Yeah.
Save you a little bit of time there.
So early,
like
I
5 seconds.
So 5 seconds.
I mean, now when I start dealing with locked treasure chests and so forth, that is definitely going to be a case. Oh, imps are time wasters.
Oh, yeah. 203. Let me make sure I give myself an extra 90 HP for my 8 HP max.
If only that worked. Or you could overheal.
Just in case.
Yeah, why not?
They're a 5-pack. They're actually probably going to be worth a decent amount, a little extra bit of gold for me right now. And the fact of the matter is my guys are having problems running from these packs this big, so may as well.
If only you had a character in your party that had decent run chance.
I don't know what you're talking about. My Dan and my Dang are actually still standing. Everyone should be happy right now.
Well, I mean, you don't really need your thief anyway, because as of right now, we're more than likely not going to Marsh Cave.
Nope.
So
we're good.
Let's check out some magic here.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, look, Black Mage finally getting a spell.
A sweeper spell only took 3 cities to get there.
He does have the charges.
He does. He's got one. So huge pick up there on the temper, especially a low level temper like that. Gives you an extra 14 attack. Harm 4.
I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll
it
buy
could
it
be
and I'll buy the
useful
heal
in
too.
ice. You know, maybe save those fade charges for if you don't have undead packs. Because again, harm 4 is going to have the same potential damage as fade. It just isn't quite as accurate, so you may not get as many crits with the spell.
It does feel less
And
essential than, like, say, if I had to go to Marsh Cave, but there's still plenty of undead out there that I have to worry about.
True.
And then, yeah, Cure 4. Oh, hey,
Huge pickup.
Hey, look at that.
And Quad X and Brack. I would pick all that up.
And I am. Sorry,
Yeah.
Fire 2, you get to sit on the table.
Poor Fire 2. He's all like, why couldn't I
Unloved.
have been in? Maybe grab a couple of houses, couple of softs.
I already
in
have
case you
softs,
get,
I bought them.
Oh, that's right. Dude, I gotta pay attention to what's happening.
It's all good. That is one of those things where if I have a chunk of money like that, buying 10 Piers and 2 softs at least are just absolutely essential. Wow, this shop sucks.
Yeah, you hate to see gold, the best vendor armor for a mage roll -3.
And I also hate seeing the gloves show up with a negative on them. I wouldn't buy them if they were like baseline, but when they have a positive to them, they actually end up being halfway decent armor. So that kind of sucks.
that gold -3 is still technically better than a vanilla silver bracelet. So there's still that. So if you need some armor there.
Speaking of that small dagger for small dagger +5, I mean, a scimitar +4. Let's bring that thief back to life. Come on.
He already has it.
Small
Well, he has
dagger
a
for
saber.
the Black Mage.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
How much was the
you don't need
scimitar?
to throw-
Scimitar is better or worse than the? It's worse than the saber, isn't it?
It's about the same.
Yeah,
They
we already have one.
I want to say scimitar has a higher crit chance, or not crit chance. Sorry, higher hit percentage.
Yeah.
But saber has like
scimitar-
one more like damage. It's like the difference between like 13 and 12 or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah, the scimitar is something like 10 damage, 10 hit vanilla, and the saber is like 13 and +5. So a couple damage difference in the saber's favor, but less hit bonus.
Before we get too much farther, do you want me to bring the thief back?
You're running this, buddy.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
We're just commentating.
I'm trying to do the best for this stream that I can.
I mean,
absolutely no reason
so let's
to
talk
bring him
about some reasons for not bringing him back. We've got really kind of up until like levels 3 and 4, excluding that level 1 fade. We don't have the greatest of magic in the world. So the sooner we can get some spell charges to the Black Mage for levels 3 and 4, the more he'll be able to actually contribute. So that way our White Mage isn't being so taxed heavily on that level 1 fade. And like Chat's pointing out, reason not to bring him back, we have a black belt.
Yeah. You can still use the warp charge, man. They're there. They're fun. You don't have to preserve them all.
Okay, the reason I did it and then you guys were talking and distracted me was for this. There you go.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I meant to do it, and then you guys were talking, and I was like, oh, what's going on? And I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, I get that the warp chair is the same slot with lock too, but yeah, you can still use them.
In all honesty, for the distance that we're talking about right there, it's a matter of a second or two. Now, when we're deeper into a dungeon, warp becomes much more essential. But
Yeah,
I'm also not the fastest runner, so this is right in line with my stupidity.
And it's fine for us because we can actually comment on things
And make fun of me, which is great.
So let me ask you, Greg. So we've got level 1 fade, we've got level 3 lit 3, we've got level 4 nuke. We're kind of like leaning on this black belt to do some work here at this point. Are you thinking of at this point, even though we don't have, well, I take it back, we have the rod. Are you thinking we're going to go to Earth Cave and maybe check some spike tiles?
I would definitely check the 3 spike tiles for sure. We're still looking for 2 loose items, and we know that Crescent Lake is more than likely going to be progression. It's going to have our canoe, more than likely, because we don't really have anywhere else we can go. We don't have the Oxtail. The only places that are really open are Earth Cave.
Oh my god, I cannot get away from this pack. Can you run? See, this is why I was
buddy.
Huh? Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to. I tried. I gave him 4 chances. He did not want to run. It's too late now.
If it was a fighter, not a black belt, I would definitely go to Crescent Lake and not worry about doing spike tile checks.
I'm probably what I'm gonna do is I will go do Crescent in a second, and then I will come back depending on what's at Crescent. I kind of want to see what we all have access to here, and then plan my route accordingly from there. Because if there's a good key item down at Crescent, then that might completely change where I want to go.
Yeah, so again, not, just decent enough magic there. Exit's a big pickup for the White Mage. We haven't seen any of the life spells, which is kind of a little scary town, to say the least.
Yeah, a little unfortunate.
Yeah, we got Pro Rings, not too terribly expensive, plus it's got a +2 modifier. That feels pretty good. We won't be able to pick that up now, but it's definitely something we'll have to put in our memory banks to make sure we come back to Melman for.
Yeah, so that +2 Pro Ring will give us 10 absorb, so nice big kind of chunk of absorb there. Granted, it's still like, what, I think it was 9.5k roughly for each one, so...
Yeah, we're not doing that yet. If I go do a black belt grind, though, early in Earth, though, then that money is going to be easy to get.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Fade charge at level 1, so even if you found like a pack of Persilis or something like that, you'd be able to mow them down pretty easily and get some money and get some early levels. But we're not going to do that. We are going to go on ahead and get what, like I said, more than likely is going to be the canoe. If it leads to pretty much anything else besides a fetch quest, then we're going to have to dive Earth and Marsh looking for a loose item.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get this out of the way now, so I know what my route can be. If it's Chime, for example, we might just be getting ourselves an early Sky.
Yeah, but we're not going to Sky with these levels and these spells.
Who says? Go buy some more houses, we'll be fine.
Okay, have fun with that.
Okay, so no shop item here.
Uh-uh.
And then double check the armor here while we're here.
Might get some silver bracelets,
Nope.
like maybe? Nope.
So those are going to be probably at on rack at the minimum now.
No armor shop in on-rack, so Guy is
Oh
going
yeah,
to
you're right.
play.
Thank you. Here's
Also,
our life too.
And it's cheap, so we can go on ahead and pick that up now.
Yep. And that's nice to have out of the way. Don't have to worry about that.
And
Fast. Can't buy it, but one thing I want to point out, if you can't remember what your magic levels are like, who can have what and how, you can still click on the thing, and if it tells you you don't have, if it allows you to get that far and says you can't afford it, then that means you can at least learn it at the level you're at right now, or the class you're at right now is the best way to put that.
Yeah, and so far with this magic, I'm going to have to say right now, Kale is like looking less and less
Essential?
like something we need, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is actually a really good seed for a black belt.
There we go.
Like I figured we'd get. Now at this point, we know we have incentives in Volcano.
Mm-hmm.
We know we have incentive in Ice. We know
we have
an
an incentive in Volcano? Thank you for reminding me.
incentive in Ordeals, and we have an incentive in Waterfalls. So you have kind of 50-50 here to make progression happen. I like the Volcano play specifically because there's 4 spike tiles in there that you can check. And then there's tons of treasure down there as well. There's like 32 chests in Volcano.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds right.
Plus all the lava tiles that give you free walks is a really nice. Once you save, go back to Crescent and save probably before you end up taking. No.
Yeah.
You might.
Dark Moon playing with fire. He wants to do that sail back from Melman.
Yeah, it does. Just please.
I am the defender of Melmond. I will do what I won't. There we go. Okay, happy now? Okay, so one thing we can do here is if we want to, we can check and see what the first encounter is right off the table, which is trolls, and they suck, and goodbye. Okay. Yeah. If they were Peds, for example, that'd be worth taking.
Yeah, so question in chat too, would it be worth taking a fight or two outside of Crescent right now in order to pick up fast? Not really, because we're not going to have level 6 spell charges anytime soon on that Black Mage. So there's not a whole lot of reason to do a grind just for one spell. And odds are, no matter what item we find up here in between Volcano and Ice Cave, we're going to be coming back by Crescent anyways.
Okay,
so
no.
Reset out of that, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Well, actually, before you head out, you should get some more camping gear. I'm not happy with your 6 cabins and 2 houses.
Okay, I mean, I would make it work, but okay. That is fine. I can do cabins. I don't think I can do houses, because houses are too expensive at this point. Well, I can... okay, here.
More cabins, I'd be out.
Here you go.
Yeah, if
buy
you can
one
buy
each.
like 20 cabins, that'd be...
Nope, too late.
Okay.
Should have said that sooner. There we go.
And then he gets yeah.
Oh, and here, by the way, you want to tell them once again about the river?
On the river,
yeah.
off the river, on the river, off the river. Does
No
not
encounters.
advance. Yep, correct. Does not advance your encounter table.
Yep.
I can be
So
here
something
all
we
day.
like- Something we just like to point out, you'll see veteran runners always do that kind of thing there
Turn that
when
off.
they're going in and out of around the
hey,
river
that was actually
system.
kind of cool. Actually, you know what? Since we found that, I was burning off encounters because I didn't like the hydrants because they hit too hard. But now that I actually found those peeds, we're gonna take those peeds.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and thank, let's see here, Cybermaki for raiding us with a party of 2.
Yep.
That's awesome. We're doing what we like to call the Duckling Boot Camp. Ale and I are Ale, I, and Dark Moon are the basically leads for the Duckling Derby that's coming up in the next 6 weeks or so. And basically we just take every Sunday at 9:30, we run some flags. We go over them, and it's more of like an educational experience here. So we just kind of go over the flags, we run a seed, we talk about different strategies and routing decisions, and just try to be as educational as we can possibly be with this.
Thanks, Fade.
Yeah, Fade really rolling good. You love to see Fade do that kind of damage. At least
Big 80
stop
right
it.
there.
Oh.
Okay, so we
And,
now have plenty of money and actually a couple extra levels there. So,
If only we could buy like 20 cabins, that'd be fantastic.
yeah, we should be able
If
to.
only you could just get, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, no problem. And the 3 houses we have on top of that should be just fine.
Yeah, so let's talk about camping gear right now. So if I'm in Dark Moon shoes, I'm trying to stack up camping gear because I want to try and knock out 2 dungeons without having to come back to Crescent Lake for supplies. So I want to try and knock out Volcano as much as I can. We have 3 houses, so one of those houses can kind of be like our dedicated. Go in there, cross our fingers for a grind tile. Get a grind, get a bunch of levels, leave, and get our spell charges back. Another house is kind of set aside for post clearing Volcano. We'll use one to get our spell charges back, and we can use our other camping gear to get back up to ice. And then we have that third one just in case maybe something goes sideways. We can always just pop that house after leaving ice. Make sure we have spell charges for the river system on the way back. So
yeah, and kind of one of the main reasons why I like to do this play. This is kind of a tough play to do from where we are to go to Volcano and Ice because it does take a while to get there through the river system. But with the spells, it is time consuming to say the least. But with Warp and Exit both readily available at levels 1 and 5, we should be able to do Ice Cave pretty quickly. And Dark Moon showing that these damage tiles here do not move the encounter table along, so you will never get an encounter here. And it doesn't move the encounter table along either. So when you hop off, you'll still have as many encounters moving forward.
But I am taking damage.
But he is taking damage. You'll get 1 damage per step on the encounter table. One of the main reasons why people like to grind here is because if you find a good tile in Volcano, you can kill off your characters quickly using those damage tiles. So first spike tile right here, very free to get to. We've got Grim.
Not the tile we want to grind on tonight.
Nope, not at all.
But it also means that a couple other places where we're going to be seeing them are now no longer a threat. So not
Exactly.
so bad.
Yeah, and I want to thank Karant for showing up as well. Good to see you here in chat.
Come on.
And
stop
everybody
there.
else.
There we go.
Veovis as well. Spider MBI. It's a great group of ducklings hanging out. Hopefully learning something here because I'm also learning things. This is a battle I would definitely take because why not?
I'd take it if there were more of them.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, this is the same spike tile as the one from below, but this time we got a Gerwolf hanging out doing Gerwolf stuff.
I just stopped them so they'd waste less time if I can't get away, because I don't expect to get away because my guys suck. See, there we go.
Yeah, the Black Mage actually has a better run chance than the other two, so...
He was failing me. I have no faith in him.
He's terrible. And it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, like, preserving these charges, because you're going to warp out after checking Armory and probably save the game and then go back in. So you may as well burn off these fades and lit 3s.
I mean, unless I find something valuable right now, I'm probably just resetting out of all of this. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, levels are valuable, too. Don't forget.
Yeah, the only thing going against that right now, though, is we I'm going to call it accidentally burned off one of our 3 houses before we went into
We
Volcano.
didn't accidentally. I did it on purpose. I wanted that health back.
You had plenty of cabins, buddy.
Yeah, you could have used like 2 cabins.
I do what I want. Am I running the scene? Yes, I am.
Yes, you are, sir.
Oh, hey, the werewolves have cremate. They're gross.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
yeah,
thank you guys.
Here comes your wife. That's fine. You didn't find anything of value, so you may as well just check
Yeah.
armor.
We'll swing around and hit that other hairpin in a second, and it's fine.
Yeah, so
'Cause I can get in
taking
here
that
from
wife's
here.
not a huge deal, and it's actually good that you didn't bother taking all those encounters that I mentioned earlier, because then you
Didn't
would have
matter.
wiped out a level. Yeah.
Yep. Here's an encounter I really like. I love this encounter so hard because
Yeah.
they usually roll really low, and
Yeah,
they are
quite.
worth a decent amount of experience.
And you
I'd
could
say
also
they-
throw a claw.
I mean, I
Oh,
say
sorry.
they usually roll really low. They did not roll really low. They were a waste of time. Thanks, guys.
Oh, you still got the level 10.
I did, but I may end up
hydrants
resetting
doing
out of
our
it as well
hydro things.
anyway.
So we're going to go on ahead and heal up, and then we're going to check what everyone calls the armory, obviously, because there's a ton of chests in this room.
I don't want to deal with you now. You're too beefy to be worthwhile for the charges I have.
There's another spike tile in this room here. Ooh, defense +1, big pickup there.
That is
Dang,
worth
not-
coming
not
out
that-
for.
Not that we're going to ever equip it. Oh my god, run away from this or throw a fade or just get away. Hate that battle. Sun Sword +4, that's another huge pickup.
It's
yeah,
making
so that's from one of our better trap treasure boxes over there.
Yeah.
it's making the the thief more valuable when I decide to bring him back.
Well, he'll at least be able to do something. I mean, he's
Yeah.
not going to be able to equip that Sun Sword.
Not
Ooh,
yet.
a loose floater, big pickup. Right
He's not going
there.
to be able to equip it yet, but he will be able to equip it when I
Well, Please use warp
Yeah,
for the
if
love
only
of
we had
God.
warp here.
Like, please, just use.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I
use-
don't now.
Oh, well, now
I
you
don't
have
now.
All right, well, hopefully.
So. It's fine.
But yeah, you find a floater in armory, you warp out, you exit out, you. Oh my
Hey,
lord!
thank you. Okay, that helps us solve
Man,
that right
if only
there.
there was an easy way to get out of that dungeon. The Gargoyle had it. It's
we get to go
called
do it
Quad X.
again. Enjoy.
So important pickups in the armory. We don't necessarily care about that Sun +4 sword. The only real 2 boxes we care about are gonna be that defense sword and that floater.
Mhm. I'm gonna
Some
gravitate
sword-
right towards them.
A defense sword huge, not because of the modifier, but because it casts ruse in battle. It does raise your evade by 80%. So 3 castings of that, and you're basically untouchable. So mix that with our incentive power bonk that we have, and
Nope, it
pretty
was
much
up.
get through any
was in
battle.
here.
Yeah, it's the top
Damn it.
chest.
Oh, it was the top chest.
That was
You
the
said
top
it was
chest.
in here. I went in there. I
No, this
appreciate
was the-
that.
It's the sun sword. Please
It's
use
fine.
just get away.
I'm going
Yes,
to.
we do have
Working
blurs. Burt Reynolds wondering if we're doing blurs. We are in fact doing blurs
Stupid cat
for this
man.
week.
So-
It is a popular flag that a lot of people have been using. So we decided we would showcase it for week 3 of our Duckling boot camp.
Oh,
I can't wait until we get Blur's characters as well. I think
I'm
that'll
never
be a lot of
escaping this
fun.
dungeon. I'm never escaping this dungeon.
Well, I mean, if you just,
I was
if only we had
conserving charges. I do not want to hear it.
Yeah, conserving all the lock twos that you need to use.
So, to answer a question in chat, why Lit 3 over Nuke there? I'm going to have to defer to Darkmoon on why he went Lit 3 over Nuke on that particular fight earlier.
The last time I checked his castings, I didn't see that he had any charges of nuke, and at that
Yeah,
particular moment, I was just going really fast and trying to get out of it. And it didn't matter because they killed me out anyway.
Yeah, you have 2 there.
Can you let me go? Thank you.
This is kind of one of those things where you run and throw a fade out, and hopefully the fade gets the job done.
Well,
If
it
you-
would be
if you
okay
fall.
if they didn't stun the wizard first, so...
Oh,
White wizard can't do anything if he gets stunned immediately.
that is
Okay.
true. All right.
Give me that.
Defense sword
and
here, top
point
chest,
there.
top one, top. There you go.
Okay, I thought it was in the bottom area, so thank you.
And you're going to use warp, I'm assuming, right?
Oh, actually, yeah, I don't have
Oh,
exit
no,
yet.
you don't have exit yet.
Yep.
You just-
It's worth checking. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so we're
What?
going to point out now we have one of our loose items, and it's an important loose item in that floater.
Mhm.
With what's incentivized, we could be a little more loose with our checks, I think. Obviously, not get too out of control here, but, you know, we could definitely take some calculated risks if we really want to. We're going to go on ahead, obviously save the game, thank you, and get in the air.
Oh, okay. You want me to go do the floater now? I was going to go do the rest of that dungeon because I was there.
I don't know what you can do the rest of that dungeon right now, honestly.
Defense sword plus nuke and fade. I think I can do the rest of that dungeon.
Nuke, fade, quad X.
You've got quad X gargoyles that you'll see further on down.
I think I'll be fine, but I'll go away if you want.
No, all right, fine. If you want to do the dungeon, I would like you to do the dungeon.
I want to do the dungeon.
All right, fine. Do the dungeon, but just make sure you remember that you actually have the floater.
I'm not going to forget that. Don't worry. I'm not going to go to Ice Cave next after this. Heck no. I am so glad I can't see chat right now.
This is so good.
Highlights of chat are Darkmoon hasn't had enough of Volcano so far.
No, I actually like Volcano. I am the weird person that likes Volcano.
No, Volcano is one of my favorite dungeons, just because of all the free checks and all the different spike tiles. It's an easy clear, and it's incentivized, and you light up an orb. There's no reason what's not to like it. So I want to point out something real quick in this room that Darkmoon's about to go to. So if you wanted to fight Sabertooths and Catmen a lot, this box right here is actually the box you would grind that tile on, because as you can see, Darkmoon's going left and right here along the wall. There are no encounters along the wall of a room like this. So you could do this forever. It doesn't move the encounter table along, as well as the door and the tile in front of the door. So, like I said, if you wanted to grind Catman and Sabertooth, that would be the best place to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with let's pass on that one, Bob.
All right, I'm going to have to agree as well.
If it was 3 of them, I would take them. I don't think it's worth it for 2. Hey, another house. Nice.
Sure. I mean, there is actually a legitimate reason to probably preserve spell charges here in this particular, because you are going to try to kill Carrie.
I am.
We got the Aegis +2, and that's not even in the better spike tile chest. The better spike tile chest is actually this one right here, which we get to see Sabertooths and Catman again. I'm super excited about for you. Let's do it.
I guess I'll check it since you guys want me to.
I mean, it could be a ribbon.
It could be 2 ribbons.
I mean, all the ribbons. I would have.
You know what? Of all the people in the stun touch, it's the Chime.
What?
Hey!
So we really don't have to check anything we don't want to check anymore.
Yep. So that's our second loose item. #thanks Volcano.
Yeah. Wow. So we have the canal and we have both loose being in Volcano. This is in my opinion, depending on what the spike tile situation looks like, this is the perfect black belt seed. Getting both of these loose items out of the way early. We really, like Darkmoon said, we don't have to check chests anymore. You can get the vendor pro ring and the vendor gold bracelet. We know we're going to get an opal bracelet at some point. We know we're going to get a massa. We know we're going to get a power bonk. And we know we're going to eventually do a grind of some kind to get money for all those things.
So here is where I'm at. And you guys can correct me. But now at this point, we don't have to check anything in here at all. And it's anything that we want to greed and go at. I am halfway into the dungeon, but
you do have the incentive box on Carrie's floor.
I know,
still,
and I can check that when I go to fight Carrie. But what I'm saying is the math right now for me, having that extra chest out of the way, leans more towards the why would I finish Volcano when I can just go finish out all my other checks and not worry.
Well, you're already here,
and
I think you have a good chance against Carrie.
Okay.
Plus, there's 2 spike tiles you still need to check. So, going ahead and I wouldn't bother going doing. Well, we still need a ribbon too. But the ribbon could potentially be in those better spike tile checks. So we got to make sure we at least remember to check those chests. So, like Lock Topher, there's one in Ice Cave.
Hey, look, I found that trap tile because I was stupid.
Yeah, you did.
I did that dumb. Don't worry. I meant to walk over and I clicked the wrong button.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, Darkmoon is going to continue full clearing this dungeon.
Ribbons.
Ribbons. Yes, I know. Yep.
I'm here, and I mean none of because the volcano, the lava tiles are here. The checks are not as hard to make. So at that point, it felt like I may as well just take it. You know.
Yeah. Yep. So we get a nice shield here. This
Good
is
if I
what
decide to
we-
bring the thief up.
Yeah, this is
Good
what
if I
we-
class change and bring the thief up, I should say.
Yeah, this is what we lovingly call the Agama room here, because obviously
Ew.
it's normally Agamas. We have scorpions and cobras, and that's no fun. No one
Ew.
wants to see this here.
Now, I want to get out of this. I want to be allowed to get away from this. Thank you. Well, that's going to make the next check really gross.
Yep, because you're going to see that encounter again before the red dragon.
I'm only going to see it once.
Yeah, because you got the warp.
Yep,
Which you're gonna
and I
use,
know to
right?
use it now.
I mean, I feel like we've beat it into your head.
Well,
to use
no,
the
and
warp.
that's part of the reason why I was worried about conserving my charges in case I wanted to warp certain areas. Warping out of the top floor didn't feel as essential as warping around here at times. So, I'm weird, I know. Can I get away from this, please? You just gonna let me
Yeah,
run?
it would be nice
Thank
to
you.
if Dang does get away. Let's go ahead and heal up a little bit before we.
Now, the downside here is we didn't find any good grind tiles, so my black belt is still pretty darn squishy.
He should not have sold his wizard staff. Chat is. Oh
I
no,
didn't.
not these gargoyles with quad X and
ambushy.
Yep, and do we have a pro ring?
No, because I didn't have the money.
No, we left them in Melmond.
Yeah, so we're gonna nuke these guys down. We're not gonna put up with their nonsense.
Nope,
This
that's not going to
Oh.
work. That's not good.
Okay, well that's good. The nuke. Now in this situation, I might warp out of here.
Only once.
No.
I'm only warping out. I'm only warping.
No,
Oh, actually,
check the chest.
what? Oh, for the love of God! Oh my God! Okay, you guys need to not talk to me while I'm trying to do something. Darkmoon should warp out of here. Okay.
For the record, Ale was not talking.
No, I know. That's all on Greg Lee getting me like all hyped up for it. Here's what I'm gonna do. We know Chime is here. We have the floater. We know what's going on. I don't have to check a lot of stuff. I'm resetting out. I'm not worried about it at this point. I did a dumb. I will own the fact that I did a dumb because I was listening to Greg Lee and not doing what I needed to do. But yeah, I'm gonna reset out of there right now, and I'm gonna get my floater, and we will be back for Chime after we've gone, and probably, I think at this point with the spells I have, I'm gonna go check Earth, and I'm gonna go see what the grind tiles are like over there, because now at this point I basically just want to grind up my black belt and get them done.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
I think a smarter play is you get in the air and you go and grab the Ice Cave incentive box with your warp trick, because you can get in there and you can get out and you can skip the whole bottom half of Ice Cave.
You have life.
That would work too.
Let's just risk it for the biscuit. There we go.
Risk it for the biscuit.
Well, first
So
thing we're
let's
going
not-
to do, since I don't have life charges yet, the only reason why I'm thinking going to Earth and see what the grind tiles are like instead, I went to the wrong store, is because I don't have any life 2 charges, and if for some reason one of my guys gets taken out, I would much rather have the life 2 charges on me when I go into any of the other dungeons. We've
Yeah,
seen
but I
way
think-
too many gross things.
But I think Ale is right in the sense
Okay.
that you got fades and nukes and lit
Alright.
2s and stuff. You can get that through Ice Cave pretty easily
Okay,
and just burn
Nope,
that
too
stuff
far.
off. So
there we go. Alright, I will follow your lead, since clearly I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
and there might be a ribbon in this better spike tile check too, which we'll go
Let's
over
see
here
what
in
the first
just a sec.
encounter is. Let's see how bad the R-bones are. Gross. Thanks. Okay. R-bones, not fun.
Yeah, we'll do the Sardi check after this.
Yep. You guys told
Yeah,
me
like
Ice Cave, and I'm listening to you because clearly I don't know what I'm doing.
No.
And that's why we're letting you run. We're training you so that way you can be better prepared to race against these other up-and-coming ducks.
This is a fun, unrunnable pack. Oh yeah, that's gross. Thank you for that. I don't like
at
Ice
least-
Cave, guys.
Yeah. How bad could Ice Cave be? As Dang was pointing out, it's really not that bad. Just use fades and nukes and
Oh my
and just
god.
slow everything down.
Well, when the wizards are hitting for 100... Can I get an encounter at some point that isn't completely hideous? No. Okay, you know what? You guys are wrong. I'm leaving. No. No. We're gonna go check Sarda instead.
All right, sounds
That was 6 encounters in a row that were just hideous. I do not want to deal with that.
Yeah, but your run was after the 6th one, so...
Thank you.
all right. So we got our key. That's
Yep,
going to
one
be
more.
another couple of spike tiles we can check that are actually free spike tiles. You can do the
Canary
Northwest Castle.
is Canary incentivized? I didn't check.
No,
Huh?
it's not.
Okay, cool.
It's not. But yeah, so we're gonna show off the different spike tiles here in Earth Cave. There's 3 on this first floor. You've got the 2 in the Hall of Giants. So this one here is 1. You got
Which is
Muck.
disgusting.
Yeah, they're gonna
Because they're stun
ambush
touch,
and
yep.
stun you and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. And kill my guy. Let's just see if I
That's
can get
fine.
away so I can find out what the other one is. I'm just curious now.
You don't even need your white mage.
No. I mean, I needed to kill them off eventually.
And Wyverns,
Eh.
which isn't good either. So
Yeah.
um,
Okay,
you
cool.
can just
That was fun. And now what's up here? And since I'm here, I'm gonna check the treasure chests on this floor, because may as well get the check out of the way. Procate plus 4,
Procate
that's
plus
nice.
4. That's huge pickup.
Yep, armor, trade down, equip.
Yeah, that's a that's a big pickup. Procate, the only shield besides the buckler that mages can equip.
Oh, there
The
we
white-
go.
Another huge pickup. Wow.
Yeah.
Earth 1 delivering here.
Long term, that actually points me in the direction of class changing too after I've done all my grinding for my black belt. Just because gold bracelets are sucky, and that isn't. And it's the equivalent of a gold bracelet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gloom Shoe pointing out Armory had the gold bracelet. That's not. It was the
Gold minus 1.
Yeah, it was top left of Agama floor that had the gold bracelet.
Yeah, it was a -3 as well, so even less reason to go back and get it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think they were 10 grand in Elfland, if I remember correctly. So
Yeah, they were.
once we find a good spike tile and grind it,
Mhm.
we can at least buy them pretty easily. So
Yeah, the only reason why I would say go back and get that one is just because it's in the same room as the chime, so you got to go there anyway.
Yeah, and I'll
But-
probably end up checking all the chests there just because I'm there.
Yeah, I mean you've already checked everything except for that box.
But
So
if it's me, I won't remember which box it's in. You guys can tell me, but on my own, I wouldn't remember.
Ooh, mage stick, a good
Mhm.
pickup for grinding. So I'd probably keep that on your thief. Give him something to do. Probably
Thief's
don't
dead.
need that wooden.
Thief's dead.
Not thief. Sorry, I meant to say black belt.
Yeah, see?
And,
Yeah.
and then we'll check the spike tile here. Ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
thank you. Thank you.
Yep. So the reason why you want to check the spike tile
Oh,
here.
yeah!
Ooh,
Now we're talking.
well, no, you got that mage stick too, partner.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you.
This is actually this is
Beautiful.
not too bad with fade at level 1. We got harm 3. We could
See how
probably
these
do,
guys do. Okay.
do a little something. I have a little bit more health than I would want.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably take this a few more times.
Mhm. Totally.
and then just something to
Oh,
point out
yes,
too,
please.
for
Nope.
because I've seen it be questioned before. So that mage stick is a -2. That -2 has no bearing whatsoever on the spell the mage
Zero.
stick casts. It
Mhm.
still completely rolls regular fire too. The bursting of the gear only affects like its actual physical properties. So if like that defense sword being +1 doesn't help Ruse be a better skill when it's used, you know,
So-
the mage stick -2 doesn't take away anything from the fire too.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. One thing I want to point out, right now, my black belt with that wooden chuck on is 25 damage, 53 hit. He is level 14. If we unequip the chuck at this point, because it's a low status item, I think his damage actually went up by like 3 points or something, because his
Plus
punches
you
are
get
now
the extra
better.
hits in.
Yeah,
And you get the extra 2 hits
Yep.
because you're over 36.
exactly. So at this point, much better to have the have him going bare knuckle than anything else. Might not be
Yep.
for a lot, but it's still better.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely
where are
take
we
this
at
a
with charges? Yeah, we are.
few more times.
I'm double checking my charges because I was having problems remembering. So we go there, and we go with that because that's what you have. I didn't.
Yep.
I needed a mage stick, but oops, oh well. It's
Yeah. Luckily, you got pretty decent turn
Mhm.
order, and those
Fade.
yeah, 'cause those guys could have easily killed off Duck.
Well, the other
since
thing
we
to
didn't
note,
get 'em
honestly, they were barely hitting me ever. They were having a very hard time actually hitting me with my evade the way it's at.
Yeah.
So,
So that's another thing too. You'll notice that your black belt has no gear on. Black belts have natural absorb that is equal to their level. So right now he's basically walking around like he's equipped with either a chain armor or a silver bracelet. So 15 absorb there. So pretty good not to have any gear on him right now, just because of what gear we have currently. And then of course, it doesn't hurt your evade as well. Plus your MDef is nice. You get 4 MDef per level. So we're looking pretty good as far as that black belt is concerned.
Now, on my own, knowing that this tile is here, where we're at, how we're looking for stuff, I mean, I could go and I could hit other places, but I'm leaning towards those zombie knees being a good, like, little grind right now, especially with the experience I'm already getting. I got
The
seven...
only reason why oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was gonna say, I have 7 fade charges. I can throw the black mage up front, kill him off, let the black belt and the white mage take it for a little while with the mage stick and the fades, and then at a certain point, my black belt can probably just start bare knuckling them down on its own.
Yeah, the only reason why I would say probably not do that is
I lost
we
you
should
there.
probably
What'd you
pick
say?
up our incentive. I was saying we should pick up our incentive items so we can get that extra 5% per
Let's
key
do it.
item. That way you're going to get the grind over much quicker. Plus,
I mean,
still...
we're level 15 right now, so it's not exactly like this. It's going to be a hardship to go do a lot of this. So.
Yeah, so right now it looks like Dark Moon, we're going to leave Ice on the table. We're going to leave Volcano on the table for now.
I did not like them.
We didn't like either of those places. So we're going to do Ordeals. Ordeal's a good check with Warp, especially level 1. It's going to be an easy check.
Totally.
We've got the pillars that are going to be randomized. But with the 7 warp charges, if you end up...
God. That was like no health.
So if we...
I'll take it again. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say, if we find the sandworm on a spike tile, then that's going to feel pretty good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and kind of just piggybacking off what Greg was saying earlier, there's still a lot of the game to go, and there's a lot of spike tiles that we can find. And when you're running black belt strats, you kind of want to shy away from doing party grinds and more on grinds that your black belt can kind of do on his own. So if we happen to find like we just saw those sandworms, if we find that, fantastic. If we find like a 2 or 3 eye tile, hey, fantastic. So I mean, we still can check the Temple of Fiends box or spike tiles. We can check Northwest Castle. We'll get to see what the Waterfall robot spike tile is, assuming we need to go to Waterfall tonight. So I mean, we still have some options on the table out there.
Well, and in all honesty, if this had been a fighter seed, I would have gone and hit the treasure chest at all the various locked places that would be easy to get to, because I'd be looking to build my gear right now and maybe see what else is available to me immediately. So, but because of the way that this seed is laid out right now, it feels more like just get the incentive items out of the way and just finish it. That was a backstep, wasn't it? Pretty sure it was. No, maybe not. So I should have checked the incentivized area there. I completely forgot to. Thanks for killing my guys. Thanks, Argoyles. You suck.
Yeah. Give him no soft reset there and go back in.
Yep, and then we can check the incentivized grind tile, or we can go check the grind tile while we're there. Not a big deal.
So typically, the room that he's talking about there with the 4 different pillars, usually mud golems are there, but obviously we have everything randomized here, so we'll see what's actually on that spike tile.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get away from this. I mean, it's actually decent experience there when it's 3 of them, but I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, with Harm 4 and Mage Stick and Lit 3, you could probably...
Can you please get away from this fight, one way or another? Thank you. Okay.
So this is actually not a bad tile. I would probably at least... Or it's not terrible, but it's not good for a solo grind, obviously. But I would definitely take it because it's good experience.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this one. Okay, definitely not good for a solo grind because I can't hit the nightmares.
Yeah, nightmares typically roll pretty high evade. I mean, I think they have abnormally high evade in vanilla anyway.
So I know that the next, oh yeah, I need to peer. I know that the next pillar in order, the first pillar right here, is not a pillar I want to take because it's going to send me back. I am going to take it because I remember it's bad, and I think my brain is now confused because I've been doing this too much.
Just fade and nuke, man.
Yep, I am.
Go for turn order.
I didn't get it.
It's fine. Do you have life 2s now?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I think you.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping I do. I get to get my guys up to like level 15 before we came in here. So no. Oh, I do, but from that battle.
No, perfect.
I know, right? Great. Thanks, guys. Well.
You gotta exit. You could exit out. And
I mean, you
empty
also
that.
has to have Fade and Nuke, so.
Yeah, you probably don't even need your black bolt. Let's just.
Yeah, let's just go. 2. No. No. Other one. Thank you. That's new. Up! Perfect! No more Argoyles, please.
And of course, we're gonna probably see like 3-eye grind here because because of the black bolt's dead.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if we do, I might just like leave and come back because that's the best damn grind. But
yeah, Cat pointing out, you do have the harm 4s, you've got the lit 3s, the fades, and that's a pretty good battle to take for XP. But yeah, I mean, black bolt's dead. Probably don't need the XP too
and
much.
there's that linked chest as well, just FYI.
And then we get our incentive box, which is the tail. We get the French vanilla, so we didn't even need to be here.
We didn't. I mean, it's the if the incentivized experience is on, then that's great. Otherwise, doesn't really matter.
And now we'll never know what's on that spike tile.
Nope, because my black belt was dead, and I don't care.
Yep. It's not like you're going to go through all of ordeals to grind that one tile.
No. No. Well, I mean, the only item I could have cared about, like, leaving behind if the grind tile was bad was that tail, but I did want the experience, so that bonus experience is kind of key for me.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any, in my opinion, doesn't really make any sense to check that spike tile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And that's kind of why I brought it up, too. You're not going to gain anything of value from it.
Nope.
You don't have life. You can't bring the black belt up. You're not going to go and risk going through more Argoyle packs just to, get quad X down before you get back there to do a grind. So not really a lot of value in that particular tile at this time.
So we do have the bottle, so we are going to head into Gaia now and do this fetch quest.
I totally remembered that and didn't just fly in the wrong direction for no reason, I swear.
We got silver bracelets for, like, regular old silver bracelets. So that's 15 absorb right there. Not too terrible.
So, fun fact, with Blurst, those gold -3s are still better than the silver +0.
Yeah, not by much, but still a little bit better.
But they were
gold,
somewhat cheaper, so I went with them instead.
the gold is 24. Oh, and there's our vendor item. So
actually, also gonna go check in the housing because I totally didn't look at the housing. I just kind of grabbed and went.
Grab 10 houses for sure.
Mm-hmm. Totally necessary. And actually, items. Cool.
Yeah, you're good. But yeah.
Here we go. We're good. Moving on.
Yeah, so we get our TNT, we can do another fetch quest, we can gain all these key items. That way we know in the back of our head that zombie D tile is there, and if we go back to it, it's still good to do a 2-man grind there, because I mean 4 of them look like at the time we were getting about 50 or 5,000 XP. Ooh, power bonk. So another like worthless trade-in. And you didn't even get the extra experience bonus for that. But the power bonk is actually one of the better gear in the game, because it does a spell called Saber, which raises your attack power by 16. Does it also raise your hit percentage per cast, or is that something
I
actually,
believe it raises your accuracy, but
yeah,
I don't think it affects
go.
your actual hit.
I knew it had something along with the temper effect.
Yeah. So we don't have Accio, but we are going to go on ahead and check Waterfall anyway, because it is an incentivized location. The robot is one of our main NPCs. So he's going to give us something important.
And we have exit and warp. We've got 2 ways out. We've also already seen the tail and the power bonk. We haven't seen the Masa quite yet. We haven't seen the opal bracelet quite yet.
But as of now, it looks like we're going to probably need to do these, to at least do these last couple of dungeons.
I just want to point something out. I'm poisoned. I was moving around. I wasn't getting the poison sound because on the sea and on rivers, when you walk, quote unquote, you don't get poison damage.
Yeah. Yeah, in a boat, you're not gonna. And does it work in the airship as well? You don't get poisoned, like you don't get the actual. You don't lose the 1 HP
when you're in a vehicle, basically.
Yeah. It's only when you're walking that you'll lose that 1 HP per tile. Mudgalls with lit 2, gonna reset out of that.
Ugh, I don't want to deal with you guys. Being gross. Too early. Thank you.
I mean,
I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah. Gotta preserve those 7 or 8 fade charges.
Yeah, mud golems with lit 2, I'd be resetting out of that as well.
I'm saving time by not engaging in a battle. I can just reset out of and get right back to it faster.
True that.
Yeah, so usually my rule of thumb is if I'm like on waterfall, if I'm like about a third of the way to the robot, at that point I'll stop resetting. But until then, if I'm just like, if I can still see the staircase,
Yeah.
I'm
I haven't. I finally made it around this curve. Okay.
Yeah, and the crazy part is we've lowered the encounter rate down significantly, so I'm finding it entertaining how many encounters off this hard reset.
It's all at the start, and I need to stop hard resetting because the hard reset early is just
or at least burn
me.
off like 6 encounters before you go into a place.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
I was saying when you were in Ice Cave, is you have the 6 fights, and then you've got a nice, decently long run-ish. So
okay,
yeah,
so I'm only gonna fight this one because there's way too much health on it, but it's good experience.
No, it's definitely good. Get the 2300 there. Not bad. Not bad.
All right, this one.
So when you're looking for grinding in general for a black belt, you want to try to find something that you can take down in one round of combat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if it's something like this isn't horrible. I mean, I wouldn't obviously grind it, but you know, if you can get it down in one round of combat with 1 or 2 people, then obviously it's good to grind on.
If I hadn't seen the Wiz Ogres before and knew that they had glare, which could insta kill me, and that's one of those ones that I would do my burn and go kind of one. I would just burn off all the charges I have, take as many as I can, and then I just like warp or exit out afterwards.
I want to talk about this routing. It's actually really good routing, even without the Oxshale. We're gonna have to double dip this continent. It worked out well that we did the tail. We did ordeals. We did the bottle turn-in, and then we found the TNT and did waterfall all in here. So now we've got a couple of fetch quests that we can do in the southern continent. You know, the crown and the TNT turn-in. Plus, we already know that more than likely we're going to have to do Ice Cave. We've got to go back. We definitely have to go back into Volcano, not only to kill Carrie, but to get that loose chime and to check that incentive. Yeah.
I know.
No.
It's a recap for the viewers, Darkmoon. It's not telling you how to route. It's okay.
I appreciate you saying there was good routing there in general. I mean, okay.
Well, let's expand on that. So we've seen both loose, which was going to be the chime and the floater. We've checked a fair number of incentive locations already. We hadn't seen the Oxyale. So, yeah, there's a chance it could have been here in the waterfall. Just kind of turns out that it was unfortunate that it wasn't, so.
This is another instance right here where if I was a fighter, like I had a fighter party instead of a black mage party or black belt party with where I'm at right now over by the Cardias, I'd check all of these and do my class change all in one go, and I probably would have done it between ordeals and waterfall after checking Gaia. Just because it's all here, it's all easy to do, and any gear I might need could potentially be lurking right in there. Similarly, if I was looking for it, I'd also come around and deal with the rest of these things. Only thing I really gotta do right now is go do that TNT turn-in.
And the crown turn-in.
Oh,
and we're gonna check. Yep, and we're gonna check the spike tiles on the in Northwest Castle. 2 of them in there, and I'd also like you to check the Topher spike tile, not only because there's a better spike treasure in there. It could be the ribbon.
Titan incentivized.
And it's got a spike tile as well.
Yep.
So that ruby actually does lead to another incentive location, which is Titan's Trove. We mentioned it earlier. Astos goes down.
Why am I moving up? Thank you. Warp out.
You're just taking over his.
I want to sit there like a beast.
Yep.
Now, if I wanted to, I could have paused and come back, and my guy would have been facing downwards. I could have sat on his throne. I did not.
No,
I honestly didn't realize it wasn't just a prop. I didn't realize you could walk on it.
All right, so you can check these boxes. There's 2 different spike tiles. The left and right chests have. Ooh, Tyro's not the worst thing in the world. If we had Massa or something easier to take it down, depending on where it rolled and damage.
It's hitting a little hard, and it seems to have, it's not terrible on health. Like, if I feel like the zombie Ds aren't working for me after a certain point, I could probably come over here with a slightly more ground up black belt and start taking on the Tyros instead. Like a two-stage battle.
Yeah, and then we'll check this one here. This is actually a really good tile. It's not good for solo grind, but it's definitely good for a full party grind.
Less good.
Except for that whole glare.
Yeah, not so good there.
With Sahag's ruining our fun.
I know, right?
Yep.
Also going to spell not a lot of fun for me down the road. And the Gersharks are beefy.
Yeah, Gersharks are beefy. You'll get at least good experience from this battle, but
Yeah.
definitely not
Nope.
a good solo or even hand grind.
No.
So
Okay, starting to be in the 20s now, I think Ice Cave might be a little more viable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Burn
So
off 6 runs and then go, but make sure you go and check. I think Greg had the right of it. I'd say check Temple of Fiends.
Also gotta do TNT before I forget about it.
TNT Ruby, do TNT Ruby, then probably hit up Ice Cave. And then finally, you can go back into Volcano. You'll have the levels, get that last incentive item if you even need it, and then kill Carrion.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be... I have Oxyale, I have Rod, I have Chime that's there, and I already have Cube.
You need to loot.
Don't have loot. So if loot is not over at Ice Cave, then that's going to be a thing. I'm here, I'm just gonna check and see if there's a ribbon, because why not?
Well, the loot could potentially be this Ruby turn-in, and you may not have to go to Ice Cave at all.
Which would be fantastic. Okay, let's go... Oh, warp.
Yeah, because you still got some fetch quests on the table, so we haven't seen the herb yet, we haven't seen the slab yet. So it's possible that one of those will come from Ice Cave, one of them will come from Volcano, so we may luck out from never having to check that Volcano box.
So, gonna go on ahead. Well, as you see, the Titan is moved over. In Vanilla, the Titan's actually a few tiles to the east of where he's currently located. We have moved him there in the randomizer so that if you get the airship early, you can't just hop in the west location and check these boxes. You have to actually feed the Ruby to the Titan. There's our Massa. So, and it's a +1. So that's actually going to be pretty good for doing some damage for our Black Belt until he gets to about level, what do you think, like 26, 27?
Masamun +1 is... What is it? At 32, a Masamun on a Black Belt becomes irrelevant. So not before 32, I think. So it's a Masamun +1 is what, like 33, 34?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have. Yeah. I'm gonna defer to Ale on this one. So we are going to check.
Not have burned. I should not have hard reset. I'm done.
We are going to check this. Yeah. The reason why we're checking this room is because there is a spike tile here, and again, we've talked about this better spike treasure, flag that's on. So there could potentially be a ribbon behind this box, and ribbon's really the only thing I think we would want. We would definitely want a ribbon on that white page.
Is it 5 or is it 6? That's the question now. I knew it was 6. Okay. See if it's 7. Who's betting on 7? There we go. That was good enough. Ooh, I can take
the worms
this.
Not as good as the purple worms.
No. But as long as they're not doing too much damage, which they kind of are, and they're beefy enough that a fade didn't take them out. So, I mean, Nuke's doing most of that, but even a low nuke roll isn't going to kill them. So in that particular instance, we'll just do the 2 we find and then be done with it. I'm gonna trade... well, it's not bad to have for Siege, just in case I get unrunnable packs that will die to it. So.
Yep. Another thing I'd like to point out, too, is before we go anywhere else, I think we should head back to Melman and pick up Fur Rings. Because the Fur Rings do have Death Elemental protection. And
that'll help some.
That'll help against those Argoyles that are blocking that one incentive box in Volcano.
Oh, you're out of those. Thanks. Okay. What? I said temper. That was bad. Okay. Oh, thanks for the low roll there.
Yeah, that's paid doing paid things, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow! Okay, guys. Cool.
Mage Staff gonna probably do not much damage since these things resist fire.
It's good enough for one.
Huh?
Yeah, chip damage is still damage. Okay, but I have to buy 1 less. Well, actually, probably buy 2 less, honestly. My Black Belt's getting to the point where his M-Desk's gonna balance that out, isn't it?
As long as you stay over 300, Quadex is still gonna land regardless of your M-Def. You need that protection. But, I mean, as long as you stay over 300 HP, Quadex isn't gonna land.
You said Melmond.
Yeah.
I'm going to Melmond. I remembered town, and I'm like, which town? What were we talking about? Okay, Melmond. Thank you for Soho Melmond being off.
Yep. Probing +2, like we mentioned before, that's going to be 10 absorb instead of the normal 8 absorb. It's the best gauntlet in the game by far because it does have the death elemental protection. So it will block spell like Rub, Quad X. Is it Glare or Glance? It's one of the two that's an instant death that's not time elemental, and of course I'm blanking on which one that is.
What am I doing? There we go. That's what I'm doing.
You know off the top of your head, Mr. Ale?
I do not, but I can look real quick for you.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking.
Okay, so where are we headed? Where do you want me to go?
Ice.
Okay.
Well, is it ice or volcano that we're doing?
Ice,
I mean,
we
ice
wanna
is
know.
probably the quicker one. So you just run in, you grab your 3 boxes, and you can exit right on out after doing your warp trick.
And we do want to know what is lurking in here, because we already know what one of the two that's, like the loose that's sitting in Volcano, we already know that one. So if I don't have to go back in there until I'm ready to kill Carrie, all the better.
Yeah, the only reason why I would suggest doing, well, I would have suggested Volcano first is because, you know, you were at a 50-50 at this point, whether we're going to find the loot here or the, or something that leads to the Opal Bracelet, because that's the only last incentive.
I'm not entirely opposed to Ale's thought, though, because this is actually a quick check if all we're doing is going to the warp spot.
True.
Yeah, and in addition to the incentive check, I believe the right-hand one is also a better trap treasure box. So we might get an incentive and a ribbon here. So that's kind of like what my thoughts were on it.
Oh no, that's a good plan. Plus, there are some spike tiles in here. Not that grinding in Ice Cave is one of my favorite things to do in the world, but if you do find the third eye grind or something, it'd be worth considering taking, especially if it ends up being on the Frost Dragon tile.
Let me go at some point. I appreciate that.
Frost Dragon tile or the
like Harm 4 you could throw at them, or
yeah, if I hadn't gotten away that turn, I was going to.
Or like a mage stick, Thor's hammer. And we're gonna do our warp trick here. We do get the loot out of there. So
that is go.
We actually don't even need to check that chest. And of course we get a pro ring.
I am actually going to check a couple things though. Hold on.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. So you can actually check all the spike tiles here using the warp trick. So that's the eye tile here, which I'm regretting that we did this.
As long as I cast slow on me and nothing else, I'm fine with that. That's right, it's empty. Item mage, run.
And then if you go north here, another warp trick to check the mage tile.
Thanks for that. You're doing. Stupid mage stick. Oh, wow.
And a bunch of trolls and bulls. What about?
I'd probably check that one from the drop-down room if you're going to be checking stuff.
Yeah, I would have suggested the same thing.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, well. Okay.
And at least the white D tile as well, since it's right there.
Nope. Too late.
So we've got
You guys said I'm running this. I ran it my way, which was poorly, but I did it. So
yeah, well, there's feedback for you. So what you can do if you're planning on checking those warp or the spike tiles, go to the back, hit your warp up, check those 3, walk around, go back down, warp, so you can check the eye slot. When you go back down to get to the mage fight, you can just drop down the hole. You can go down 1. You can check the drop down tile. Then you can warp back and you can go and check your mage tile. So that way you can kind of hit all 3 of those different spike tiles pretty efficiently. And then you just exit out and carry on if you don't find something you want.
And again, like I said, still, me personally would definitely check the white D tile because it's a free check because of how small that room is.
I did miscount. Okay. Never rely on me to count.
It's all right.
Well, the good thing is we're like in a pretty good spot here. All we really need to do is grab the chime. We know it's in that top left-hand room. We don't even need to check the incentive here because we know it's a fetch quest that'll start with either the herb or the slab, which will lead to either the herb or the slab, which will eventually lead to the opal bracelet. The opal bracelet would be fine. I don't think it's worth the time to pick up. What do you think, Ale?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. Because it's a lot of gambling, and if we end up with something like an opal bracelet -5, you're not really a whole lot better than that gold -3, to be quite honest. I don't think those 6 points of absorb are really going to make or break it. So I think the only things we can really consider at this point is we have the tail. I think we're only really hurting for a decent grind for that black belt. And then, we can at least promote and throw the white shirt on the white wizard. And then from there, we only have to really worry about like keeping our black mage alive at that point. So,
yeah, I mean, to me personally, I'd probably, we haven't seen anything. I'm not grinding in Sea Shrine. And because we hadn't seen the stuff in Ice Cave, I'd probably just 2-man grind with the white mage and the black belt with the mage stick on those zombie Ds.
That's where I'm headed.
I'd suggest something different. I would suggest killing off the white and the black, and I'd probably take that Masa to town on those stakes and Astos' refrigerator.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it. I forgot A, the NASA was a thing, and B, the fact that those Tyros even existed. We could probably check them both and see which one actually gives better HP or XP.
Yeah, we'll go hit the Tyro first because it's a 1 for, and I might be able to get through that without it being a problem. So.
Yeah, and another thing you could probably do before. Well, no, I wouldn't do it. I mean, you could definitely go back in here after you're done killing Carrie. So we do know that leads to the slab. We already knew that. We're going to do the warp trick.
I want the experience. That was all it was.
Oh,
Didn't
yeah,
care about
for
anything
sure.
else.
Yeah, so 5%. So it's not going to make or break. You might save like one fight over the course of your grind. So it's not a huge time save, I don't think. But
no, in fact, with how long it took to go get it, it probably was a penalty. But we did it. Just to illustrate.
And then we're going to go on ahead and light up our first orb here.
We'll
this shouldn't be too bad. We've got the master, so we know that with the scaling that we have with 67% to 150, we know that Carrie's going to roll somewhere between 450 and 900 HPs or 3. Is that right? Somewhere in that general area?
Yeah, so what? She's 600 in vanilla, I believe.
I think it was less.
Well, she's dead anyway, so we don't have to worry about it.
It's been so long, I don't keep the vanilla HP numbers in the top of my head. I know.
And this was a spot where if I hadn't saved, it could have been really bad.
Yeah. Question in chat from Not Enough Non, wondering if we have this information, class change, hit, spell charges, all that stuff is actually pinned in our links and resources in the Duckling area of our Discord.
Where
are you?
I was too far down. I was trying to figure out where I was. I lost my placement.
And then, of course, there are websites that exist, like the one that Jonathan Yoshi pointed out, that will give you all the information you need. Looks like the Randroid is going to go on ahead and let us know about the Discord and our
really
website.
Bad, really. Okay, Bat.
Good thing that left-hand box is the same spite tile as that right-hand box, huh?
So we are going to go on ahead and take the Tyro on. Tyro's and it looks like this is going to be a 2-rounder.
Well, nothing. That spiffy dagger right there. Oh yeah.
Oh, we got stake and wing, so this is looking less exciting for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially since the Wyverns have Dazzle. But the Dazzle has a really high chance to land on your black belt with the MDef that he's currently at, but I don't love it anymore. What do you think, Ale?
Yeah, I'm not really a fan either. I think the only thing that worries me is I know we didn't get hit very hard by the zombie Ds earlier, but when there's 4 of them and they all start wailing on like a mid-20s black belt, I kind of start sweating a little bit. So
no, I agree with you.
Yeah, I hard reset. Oh well. You know, we're gonna try and burn some of this off.
Bottom. Yeah, I was gonna say bottom left room is gonna be the best way to grind.
Okay.
Bottom left.
And why is that, Ailmark? And that's because the bottom row is free, and he got yelled at for not grinding down there before. So yeah, so that bottom left room, you have a free row of tiles to walk on, and then immediately up by 1 is where you get the spike tile. So you basically pause your encounter table, in that bottom left room. So
6.
So as you can see, he's burning off all these.
I burned too many. I think I burned too many. So well, we're just gonna go.
This is what some people will call manipulating the encounter table, so that you can get like a good run at the beginning. Still worked out. So we're gonna go up and down here. Nope. We've got plenty of fades and nukes for days. So throw a fade, get a mage stick out, 8 and Mage Stick should do the trick in one round. Should is
Should.
the operative word.
There was low rolls all around there.
Oh, and you
Oh, yeah.
see, that's way more experience than what the Pyro and the Steak and Wings were given. So definitely, I'm thinking 2-man for 100% certain. And I'd actually probably move your White Mage down to the slot that the Thief is in.
You can do it the next time, yeah.
So that Dang 100% gets beat up by these zombie Ds.
Mhm.
At this point, Ale, Dark Moon, where do you guys go with levels here?
Scaling's at what?
67 to 150.
Oh,
150.
32. I don't think I'd take it past 32 for that. That's not even necessary.
Yeah, we have Temper pretty low level.
Mm-hmm. What am I doing? There we go.
I'm stopping this at like 29.
Okay. I can do that.
Yeah.
Because even if we stop at 42, or I'm sorry, 32, I don't see us gaining 10 levels through the other dungeons in here. And with that low scaling, I think a 42 black belt's completely overkill, and you're just burning time at that point.
No, yeah, no. 42 is definitely too high. I don't even need to worry about that. 32 is where I'm going to go just to guarantee. But you are right. If we stop at like 28, 29, I'll probably get those last 3 to 4 levels just while I'm finishing out dungeons.
Yeah, because we still have to full clear Earth because we still want to light up our Earth Orb. We then still have all of Sea to go through to get to Crack, and we have all of Mirage and Sky to get to go through in order to get to Tiamat. So you still have 2 of the 3 really heavy EXP full dungeons to get through. And if you're running 2, maybe 3-man at that point, because, I mean, let's be honest, you probably don't need the Black Mage alive to make it through Earth Cave.
No.
You probably don't need the Black Mage alive to make it through Sky if you go there second after Earth Cave. So you can kind of really funnel the EXP there. And you can guarantee 32 before Tiamat, and then you can bring up your Black Mage, and that way you guys have plenty of firepower to get through Sea Shrine with all the kind of nasty stuff we've already seen, especially because we still don't have a ribbon. So,
yeah, Jonathan Yoshi wondering, did we pick up the time? We most certainly did. I'm sure Ale's going to go on ahead and throw it on the tracker there, as well as the slab, which we picked up.
Yeah, and I'll even turn on that fire orb too.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, and just to confirm, item, chime.
Yep. So we are in go mode right now. The only thing we're really doing is we are taking the time to go on ahead and grind these guys up. And
which won't take that long.
Yeah, we shouldn't take too long to get about 22, like he said. We're only going to check a few chests here. We're going to check all of our spike tile checks, hoping to find that ribbon. There's one in the bottom of Earth 2, and there's one at the top of Earth 4. Plus, of course, your incentive Earth chest, and like a few other easy checks that you can do. Kind of greed checks, as we like to call them, to try to find that one ribbon. The only reason why I would say maybe go up a few more levels is just for the extra MDef. But I think we're, like everybody else says, I think we're pretty fine stopping at like 20, 29, 30s.
The other box to check in here too is the one single tile chest that's right there to the left of the vampire's room, that spike room. Yep. That's another one of our better treasure trap tile boxes.
So there's 3 of them in this dungeon, and at this point we haven't seen a ribbon yet. I'm going to assume that it's in one of those boxes. The other better spike treasure, I think, is Sharknado, and then there's one in Sky, even though it's not behind a spike tile. It's Sky 3 top right room, which doesn't really make sense, but it's there. And this is the thing you were talking about before, Ale, how scary zombie Ds can be when they start just wailing on one character, and your harm 3s and your fire 2s don't roll for anything.
Yeah, and the white mage will clearly be able to kill it. It's just going to be a matter of how quickly they kind of single target somebody down. And if they do happen to kill it, you're not really losing your grind, because at this point we still have life charges. So even if the black belt did happen to die there for some particular reason, we could just bring them right back up via life. Chat. Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
I was just saying, Bev is wondering if Sky 3 is before Sky Maze. It is. So again, still just kind of burning off. We got one more, and then we're gonna head in.
I think it's 6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
we
six.
we
I
burned
think
those off.
even if you take an encounter on this first floor, I think you just keep going because since
Yeah.
we're almost level 30, you'll still start seeing things starting to run away from your party
Where's
at this
my
point,
NPC
especially for this
guillotine?
dungeon. So
So check this. Actually, okay. You're gonna run past the room,
You want me to go to the room
but I
up
was
on
saying,
the right? Okay.
let's agree check, and I
What?
would also check the bottom room
It's not a
because,
green
like I
check
said,
for me, but okay, I'll do it. Not a big deal.
oh, looking for a ribbon.
It's
I
fine.
mean, the things to consider is we didn't see wall in a lower spell slot anywhere, unless I just totally whiffed on seeing it. So
I don't
we
remember
kind of
seeing it.
determined it's either going to be 7 or 8, which means it's going to be promotion locked. So I think your kind of comfort zone, and this is a good time to kind of bring up like your end game win conditions that you might hear people talk about, how like they have their own personal win conditions, like what things they need to have met to start feeling comfortable diving Topher. I think if I have a high level wall spell, 1 ribbon on a life caster is going to be kind of like my personal condition I want to go for. The other one being like the defense sword, but we've already found that, so I'm not digging for that one, obviously. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't be diving Topher until I found at least 1 ribbon.
And another thing too, Dark Moon, is you could probably move that Massa over to your White Mage because you're going to be doing more damage, I think, with your fists than
Okay.
you are. And then you can also do.
Well, here, let's find out. Status on him 71, 139. Weapon, equip. 56, 86. No. Mazamu's better.
But you still have the double hits, or the double
Okay.
number of attacks.
Okay.
Plus, it kind of makes sense from a standpoint. So if you happen to find like, single or double enemy packs that you are coming up across when you're diving Earth, makes a little bit more sense instead of like having to burn through Fade Shards or take 2 rounds. Pretty much everything down here is going to die to a level 28 black belt, whether he's better with the Masa +1 or not. So at least by giving the Masa over to your White Wizard or White Mage at this point, you do get that second melee swing, and pretty much everything will get 1 rounded if you don't have a whole lot of enemies on your screen that you're fighting.
All the J Cobra bats, like this battle particularly, you could take because you could just have them both attack. Six hits, 474, pretty good. There's our flame too. Man,
-2.
where is this? Yeah, where is this ribbon? Let's say hi to the vampire, everyone.
So, and just to kind of reiterate things with the better trap treasure, it has a chance to give the better trap treasure, but there's still a good number of items in the pool. So it's not like the better trap treasure is guaranteed to give you ribbon. You just have a better chance of it landing in one of those boxes.
This top room here, yep. The top left chest, I think, is one, but there's 5 chests in here anyway, so you may as well check them all out, and hopefully you can find that ribbon. There's ice armor, which again is part of that pool of better spike stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Just in case we bring the ninja back later, then he actually has some armor to wear.
So let's talk about armor real quick, because I may have just missed it. You could potentially, I know we talked about this earlier. Never mind.
There's one thing I should probably do. Hold on. Give me a sec. Let me get out of this fight first. There we go. Armor. Trade. Since I have armor equipped on my black mage, or black belt, I may as well make sure all the armor that matters is on my black belt. So, actually put that there. Move that up. Trade that up. He can wear all that, and because the armor was equipped to him in general, he had to actually do some. I had to like give him a full complement instead of leaving him naked. Because if you put any armor on your black belt, it nullifies all of his naked armor protection.
Yeah, and I think right now you still have better absorb with that pro ring +2, the cap +3, and the silver bracelet. That's a little bit higher than his current absorb at 29.
And since my black mage is kissing dirt right now, he may as well not wear anything.
I mean, it's pretty close. I want to say, what are we? Silver bracelet's 15, plus 10 for the pro ring is 25, plus the 4 for the cap. So yeah, I mean, it's right there.
Yeah.
A couple more levels, and then it won't really matter. It'll be a moot point then.
Yeah, it's
I never remember where this tile is. Right here?
it's
There it
it's in
is.
front. Yep, and then on the sides of the chests here.
Yeah. I always forget, and I always end up taking one of them. Because I'm going fast, and it's actually slower if I just stop and think about it. Please, Pat. Thank you.
All right, so it looks like we're gonna be pretty close to lighting up this second orb here.
Mm-hmm.
In go mode, pretty good with our levels. Lich is probably gonna go down to just attacks.
I want to
point
out the trolls on the top floor were unrunnable. The trolls down here, same looking pack, was runnable, presumably because this was what, like a troll bull pack, and the bulls didn't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, you were saying?
Oh, I was just saying, Lich is going to be a kind of a joke, like he typically is. So we're just going to go a couple of attacks. White Mage is going to do about 200, which is half of vanilla, and then 6, 5, 11, and that's pretty much it for Lich. So second orb lit, and then from now on, I mean, we've got Sky and we've got C. What are you thinking you're doing first?
Well, let's see what I'm just flying straight down, and the first thing we get to is C. So I'm just going to do C because it's closest.
Sounds like a plan to me. What do you think, Ale?
Yeah, we're here. Why not do it?
Come on.
Yep.
Soft reset, because I know that all the encounters are really up to the front. I say. Wow, okay. Way to defy me, game. Thanks.
So I would consider taking some encounters down here with that Thor's hammer. Maybe throw it onto your black belt, and use some fades and blah blah blah, so forth and so on.
That was a waste of a house there, but we'll just do a cabin here and just not use the one charge. There we go. Let's go.
Yeah, I'd still use a house because you're missing spell charges on your black mage from the zombie D grind still.
You're right. Yeah, because you can. Yeah, all those nuke charges. Cool. Okay. Let's go do it. Thank you for reminding me.
That's something to point out too. So if you have a party member dead and you use a house, the dead people don't regain their spell charges. Same with using the inn. So if you really want spell charges back, make sure they're alive first. Yep.
3. This is better than taking all these damn encounters. 4. Honestly. Yeah. 5.
I mean, I'd probably
6.
take some encounters and see if you happen to, find a couple floors with the, Ghost will probably die pretty quick between your Mage Stick, your Fade or Harm 4, and your Nuke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, the encounters I find from this point forward are fine, but those 6 so close to the front, I just don't want to deal with them. I think it's faster for me just to not bother, and then we'll just take the encounters as we see them from this point forward.
Yeah. So do a couple of greed checks on the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to check the spike tiles because there's no real reason to. We've already done our grind.
Mm-hmm. No, if I'm really going to check any chest dense areas, it'll probably be Sky 3 at the end.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
This is more like just saying things to chat.
Oh yeah, no, I was just commenting for me.
The lobster's wasting our time with slow too.
Yep.
It's better than regular slow, that's for sure.
And it didn't hit on my black mage anyway, or black belt. It hit the black mage, and black mage doesn't care because he was casting lightning. Yeah,
this elusive one, huh?
Nothing, just annoying. Wait, just kill him.
Oh, that's just because we put all the ribbons in Marsh Cave tonight.
Pretty much.
One of them's probably behind the marsh tile that has the spike on it, and that's probably a 3-eye grind because
exactly.
That's how these seeds work.
Yep. So we are going to check. Oh, okay. We're going to check these chests.
This one's not too far out of the way, and I can't get any encounters along the bottom here. So it's not the most greedy of greed checks, but it's not too bad either.
Yeah, and if you're really concerned about steps too, if you want to check that room, you can even warp back.
Yeah.
And work your way back up that way as well. So, I mean, you've got a lot of options for saving some steps here.
And I think this room has one of the better spike tile treasures that we mentioned earlier, if you actually go through the spike tile. And watch this be the 3-eye grind.
If it is, I might take a couple. I mean, this isn't bad.
Oh, sorry,
This isn't bad at all.
I was going to say, I would kill them, but I wouldn't stay here for any...
No, I'll take them each way I go on it, and that'll be that. But they're worth it, and they don't hit too hard, so...
Yeah, so while we're down here talking about it, Greg mentioned it earlier, you're not going to normally do a grind deep in C. Part of the reason with that is especially because, like we talked about with the black belt strats, you want to try and consolidate as much EXP or concentrate as much EXP as you can onto just that one black belt.
Frost.
And so if you're down here and you find a really great tile, the problem is you have all these really ungreat enemies typically down here in C as well, and they don't really care what level your black belt usually is. Especially because we've seen a lot of nasty stuff today. Like we know the Wizzahags have something nasty. Anytime I see at least lobsters with a spell script, I kind of get a little nervous because they usually like to show up in packs. So I mean, you've got a lot of cons against doing grinds this deep, and I don't think there's really any tile down here that would make me take a grind at this point.
I was going to say, I wanted to point out that while the Sarias weren't hitting that hard, a pack of 3 of them that actually have Frost starts to be a whole lot less worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too, there's a difference between taking on carry with a solo black belt versus Kraken. Like going after Kraken with a solo black belt, if you get bad turn order and Kraken rolls high, you can still easily take a wipe on Kraken.
So let's talk about this fight right here real quick. This is our #thankyou beta.
Exactly.
Out here. So because the packs are shuffled, one of the things on beta is it functions a little differently than live. So this particular battle, we can easily run from, especially because we got initiative. So,
and I would have, except I want the experience because it's actually not a terrible encounter.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But what he was saying is that pack is typically was up until very recently always unrunnable because it was the B side to the Pirates, so it was always unrunnable. But luckily, with the beta, like he said, we've been able to, I guess, get it off that B side to Pirates and make it actually runnable now.
EXP pinatas.
And we got math happening. That's actually a really good encounter. That's a good one to see on a spike tile too. Big Eyes have one of the highest HP or XPs in the game.
That's why I took it.
Yeah.
If it had been a double Gershark, I would have avoided it, but the Gershark Big Eye was totally worth it.
Alright, so we're going to go on ahead and heal up.
You know what? We'll just do it faster and do this.
Before we do Kraken doing Kraken things.
Definitely move your black belt somewhere else. Maybe.
The other thing I'd consider doing too, and we did it when we were rearranging armor, but I'd probably throw your power bonk back on your black belt, and maybe make sure your black mage has armor.
You're right. Not a bad. Well, he has a cap, and then you can have that back.
Yeah, and get the pro ring off probably.
You
just because.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. Well, I need to.
I'd rather have a naked black belt at this point and risk him getting
Fair enough.
Death. Just because you've got decent MDef at this point, and I'd rather have the 30 absorb than I'd rather have the 8. So
we're gonna go Brack strats, and it looks like we're gonna do white shirt, get that defense up. Luckily, Kraken went straight after the black belt or black mage, and it actually didn't one-shot him, which is pretty impressive there. So Kraken's not hitting too terribly hard, and that was actually a pretty good hit from our black belt. We do have to remember to go back to Crescent at some point and pick up fast.
That was what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yep. Reminded me.
So we're still going Brack strats, and man, Kraken going full on Burt Reynolds, attacking that white mage in the back row, but not doing any damage to her. Brack coming out again, so that's a 3rd fail in a row, and now we're not doing much damage with that black belt.
So I think at this point, if I'm running this seed, if I've gotten 2 rounds in and my bracks are missing, I'm swapping a nuke just to complement the black belt punching.
Yeah, and just start going like nuke fade punch. Because we're getting pretty close to vanilla right now with how much damage we've done to Kraken. I expect him to go down here pretty soon. So 3rd orb lit up, and the only place left to go is Sky.
Yeah, and Crescent.
Stop hitting the wrong button. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, do you go to Crescent first to pick up fast before going to?
No.
Nah.
I mean,
yeah, I think the same thing.
I want it.
Yeah, definitely do. We'll do it on the way.
It's lower boss scaling, so it's not like you're gonna have like some 3,500 HP Tiamat 1, something like that.
If it was a clamped 100 to 300, then yeah, fast would be on the table. But I was like, it's not scary scaling, and like you saw, it was like a quick flight right over to get here. So
Yeah, we're gonna check this first floor because there's chests all right here. Pretty easy to get to. We could maybe find that elusive ribbon.
greater
Ribbon's
than less
really the
than's
only
not on the
thing.
table.
Ribbon's really the only thing we're looking for. Like, I mean, I would feel really comfortable with a ribbon on the white mage, for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially now that we have the master, we can
Chimera said help.
even if the black mage or black belt goes down, having the massa on the white mage, you could still make things happen. You know, you've got the white shirt, you can get her defenses up, you can make sure that she can attack and get through battles with the cure 4 and the heal 3 and all that stuff. It's not a bad strat if for whatever reason your black mage or black belt dies in combat to something like zap or crack or something.
31 on that black belt. I have to take this fight again because it's unrunnable.
I think at this point too, so we're only one floor in. In lieu of burning nukes, I think for me I'm going to do like either fight, wait, fight, or even yeah, I think that's probably what I would do on those particular fights, just because you're burning a really kind of a very good spell slot at this point, because not only do we have nuke there, we have Brack there, so those are really kind of two of our kill charges or kill abilities for Tiamat. And then not even talking about if we come across, like, say, maybe there's a War Mech who's unrunnable. So I'd rather spend the extra one round, perhaps, like, just not casting nuke. Yeah, it might cost me, like, what, 5-6 seconds per Cerberus battle that we hit, but it saves us charges for the end of this dungeon. That's really where you want them at.
Okay. This is a whole different experience when I play the game than when you guys play the game.
I know, when we played, it's like, oh, we got all the items we wanted up front. Here you are, an hour 40 in, you're like, yeah, if only I could find a ribbon. That'd be great.
And also, you guys remember to check chests, and you guys don't have to tell each other what to do. I'm like, la la la.
So, I mean, that kind of brings up an interesting observation, though.
I like this encounter.
So something that we're going to be looking to do, probably near the end of the Duckling boot camp, is kind of like how we have Darkmoon running the seed tonight. I'm not sure if we're going to do it as the reveals or if we'll have this going throughout the week. But our plans at this point is we want to kind of do like side-by-side coaching with some ducks who request it, to where we can sit in like a Discord channel with you. You stream it into Discord. We can, either coach you or backseat game you, whatever you want to call it. Just kind of helping people, maybe like say they're stuck on a particular seed or they want to get coached through a seed. Things like that are in the works, so keep an eye on the Duckling channel for more information about that coming up as well.
Well, this also, just for the sake of people that are new and are enjoying this, I mean, you'll watch some people like Spellzap or Crab Cakes or something, be like, oh my god, how am I ever going to be that good enough to play? I played in the last, couple different tournaments we had, as well as the previous Duck Derby. I was in the co-op tournament with Min, and I played in this year's spring tournament. I didn't get very far, don't get me wrong, but I played. So it's not that you necessarily have to, be super good to even be at a level to participate in these things. And also, the simple fact is, you could be a part of the community and still not be the best at this game. I mean, they just made me an admin, and so.
Ooh, these R-Hydras are not messing around.
No, they are not. Second one should get taken out by this lit here, and I mean, they're good experience, which is the whole reason I'm taking them, but yeah, I mean, at this point, they're not really worth it. I'm gonna run from the next one.
Yeah, I mean, Blizzard and Brack, I'm not sure if that's something I want to stick around for.
I'm gonna run from the next one. It's not even worth it to me now. But also good knowledge for the Bridge of Destiny.
So -3 was our better chest in this particular floor, so...
That one right there? Yeah, but it was a gauntlet. You confused me for a second, was it the bracelet? No, it wasn't. It wasn't even all that great. Okay, let me heal up.
That's kind of the weird thing about this particular flag is, so many different things do get pulled into that, and then sometimes things just don't end up in those chests, so...
Yeah, that's what we're talking about is, there's a decent-sized pool of things that are considered better by the game, and so... Yeah, you might find a ribbon there, but there's still a lot of non-better trap chests out there.
I think it qualifies as anything that's quote-unquote elite that can't show up in the shops by default. So it's, it's anything that's special or rare, but just because it's special or rare doesn't actually mean that it's any good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Darkmoon, That's fine. That was okay.
What did I do?
I didn't do anything. You're fine. Everything's cool. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, you
Fine.
made me worried
But
for a
this-
second there.
No. Sky Maze was the thing. All right. So
Did I do the wrong? Did I go the wrong direction on you?
So we didn't get any sort of Bless RNG, which is fine. We never saw the old robot chicken, but this should go fine. We're gonna go Brack Strats again. We're gonna fade probably,
Yeah,
maybe,
white
or
shirt.
just
Yeah, white
attack.
shirt. We'll just do a white shirt, just an off chance.
Yeah, we're gonna totally just disrespect Tiamat
Oh, yeah.
and leave our black belt in the front slot.
I don't worry about Tiamat in any way, shape, or form. Oh, great. In comparison to what I do with Kraken. I don't even know what you just cast. Doesn't matter. You're slept. Okay, cool. There we go.
So that was pretty good there, switching up your strategy there, going on ahead and realizing that you weren't doing much damage against Tiamat with your level 32 black belt, so throwing out the tempers to get more attack power.
Now it's starting to crank.
Yeah, with 2 tempers on, now we're like doing 400 damage. So maybe like switch over to nukes and fades like what you're doing now.
Yep,
Perfect
already on it.
play.
Yeah, and this is a high rolled Tiamat in comparison.
Yep, but that nuke takes her down.
Mm-hmm.
She rolled just a little over vanilla, probably like 11 or 1200. And we've lit up our 4th orb, so we just gotta make sure we head up Crescent.
Yep.
For fast.
Heal pots.
Heal pots. We
No
don't have the
ribbons,
ribbon,
sad.
which is kind of scary.
Yeah, and at this point in the seed too, I don't really feel like it's worth diving and looking for because, we skipped
Maybe
Mirage
Cardia?
2, we skipped
I can check Cardia.
Sky 1,
Well,
Sky 2.
I can check the Cardias because the other thing that occurred to me was, I'm going the wrong way to get to the Cardias. This is a long way. The white shirt I have, would provide better armor than any of the stuff that I have on right now. So if I want to go class change, like my black belt's not going to get much more in the way of levels that's going to matter. But I could class change and start using that white shirt as an actual upgraded gold bracelet at this point.
Oh, that Katana 3 just waiting there for your ninja, but
Nope.
I mean, I would bring the ninja to life just to have a better run chance than Topher.
Yeah, no,
So
he'll come up. But if you guys agree with me, I will go class change so I can get that armor on my white mage.
I mean,
Oh,
it
there we
doesn't
go.
matter if you agree
Never
with you or
mind.
not, so.
No, I wouldn't do it. At this point,
There we
you got your ribbon.
Got my ribbon. It doesn't matter as much now. But I will probably go check the last of the Cardia Islands just to see if there's another ribbon lurking.
Yeah, since that is the one that has the most chests in it, so.
Yeah,
Going
plus
over
feels pretty good.
The one feels great already. I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah, ribbon plus 3.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Okay, and then the gold bracelets were over where?
Elfland?
Elfland. Yep. Well, I am gonna go buy. Oh, look. Oh, hey. Whoa. Okay,
Maybe we should do class change after.
yeah! Never mind on that. Now I have 2 shirts that are better, and another. Okay! Damn!
Cardia was the play.
Cardia was the
Yeah.
play, alright. Here's something. Thank you.
That is insane.
That is
Don't forget
some
to equip that
serious.
ribbon,
Oh,
sir.
wait, no, I will. I will. I have to go.
Ribbons
I was
on
going the wrong
both
way.
mages. Black belt stays naked because he's better that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna just do a
Yep,
quick
and then do
safety
class
save.
change while you're.
Yep. That was my plan, and then I'll do all my equipment at that one because it's more efficient there. Where I'm going to be equipping shirts anyway afterwards.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so that was something we talked on. I believe it was last week. Is if you're diving a dungeon, you find a great piece of gear, great. You go into your menu, you equip it. You open
Move
up
on.
the next piece of gear or the next box, you find another piece of gear. Like, all right, great. So I'm gonna go back into my menu and re-equip it. Like all that in and out of menuing time is just wasting a lot of time. So unless you absolutely need something like hey, using exit instead of warp, or say, hey, I found 2 ribbons next to each other. Things like that, those are going to be your priority things to equip if you're risking monster fights. Raiding Cardia, we're never going to take a monster fight. We don't need to spend the time to equip a ribbon. We can
no,
wait.
never mind. Hold on. Sorry, I was doing something stupid. Give me a sec.
No, it's all good. And then you may as well equip your thief with things
There
too.
you go.
You've got that ice armor. You've got a silver helm. Pro ring can go down there as well. And then of course, like you said, the katana.
I was just trying to get stuff organized. I was getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, well, we got to go back to that katana that was over in Cardia Grassy.
I will.
Oh, we didn't grab it.
No, it was full, and I was still if 50-50 on what... I mean, he's level 2. He's not going to get anything out of it.
You can take like one fight and pop him up to like level 9, and between that new HP and that defense, that'll keep him alive for some of the garbage fights it's over.
I have no problem going and just doing something for the hex of it, so... Was it this one?
Yes. Top one.
Top one, thank you.
Why worry about it? I mean, you know, the extra damage, not bad. Plus, I bring the thief up for Topher, like I said earlier.
Oh, no,
so
he was going to be.
Fail run.
Yeah, no, he was going to be just as a meat shield and potential for being able to run. Yeah, that was on my list.
Don't forget Crescent for fast.
Thank you. Actually, it's faster at this point to go this way.
Yep, and then let's check out your inventory to see where your heals are located.
I was going to buy those too, yeah.
Well, I'm not even so much concerned how many heals you have, just where they're located in your inventory.
I need to buy a tent.
Yeah, you need to buy a tent, exactly. That's what I was just about to say.
Not here, though. How many did I have? 49. 50 of them, please. On the off chance.
Do you remember where tents were located? I feel like they were in Elfland. I hate going to that shit. I hate going up.
Elfland sounds right, because I believe we had nothing good in Canary. I think Provoca had cabins and houses.
Let me see your inventory again. Yeah. I mean, I think I'd rather burn off the cabins and houses than try to walk all the way into frickin'
That's going
Elfland
to be a long burn.
I mean, I think it'd be quicker to burn off 15 things than to walk all the way into Elfland to buy one tent.
We're sure there weren't any in, no, there weren't, because there were only cabins over in Canaria. Okay, we'll burn.
I don't know, what do you think, Ale?
I mean, I'd burn it at this point, because we're not even 100% sure tents are in Elfland, and then even with that being said, you buy one tent, you land here next to Temple of Fiends, you accidentally use your tent, you're back in the same spot you'd be in right now. So I'd say, yeah, just burn everything, go, maybe consider bringing up your ninja before diving in.
Yeah, go on ahead and grab that ninja alive and then use your last out.
Caught me one too late before you said it, sorry. And now we're going to go waste time.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll just, here, hold on.
I was going to ask, did you actually even save? Because I feel like you pushed B on that last house.
I did. So it's fine. We'll go by one. Bring it back. Go hit the inn. I'm doing all of this the wrong way because I feel pressured now.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's on me.
There's only a couple thousand sets of eyes just staring at you, watching you run this for coming up. So
watching
no
me
pressure whatsoever.
Watching me play trashy.
And then you have the two of us like backseat telling you.
Yeah, no, I gotta actually tell you, I feel like I'm making more mistakes than I usually do because I have like so many, like two of you guys talking to me and chat like commentating as well. I'm like, so weird. Come on.
So I don't like this long run down there because there are some tiles that you can walk on that will never have an encounter the closer you get down to Canary.
Yeah, no, I got a little too far and I'm like, you know what, I need to walk back up.
Yeah, so something to consider for Topher. So we know we have 6 fights, so we have a decent run. And then there's a few more fights, and I think there's another decent run. Depending on how this first Topher dive goes, I might consider coming in Topher off a hard reset just to see. Because that would put your longer run probably closer to like the Earth Fire floor, and it might even last into, I think it'll probably actually just the Earth and Fire floor.
Well, Fire floor's so short, too.
And the good thing about this, though, is you clearly get away from this floor that has the bad men on them. Everybody hates bad men. They're just terrible. Yeah.
And that's kind of the only upside to it is you find something nasty down here, like, you know, maybe that Chimera pack or the bad men, or, you know, you hit like the 4 gas Ds and they just don't want to let you leave.
And Dean already doing his job, getting out of that battle for you.
I think he's 2 for 2 now in running.
Good job, Dean.
Just trying to show you he could have been useful for the other hour and 52 minutes of this seed. Like, if only he kept me alive.
No, I was never keeping him alive. Sorry, Dean.
3 for 3?
I mean, that's the thing. He's really good at running, but there... I didn't see much use for him otherwise right now. Like, it's almost like if I'd found Tail and like tail and a katana within like the first couple chests, then thief definitely would have been on the table. Bye, Dean. But like here now, not so much.
Well, Dean did his job.
He did.
He got you out of plenty of battles.
We're gonna disrespect Lich for the most part. We're just gonna do a quick heal here.
I think Dean stays down until Kraken for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Full disrespect.
Yeah, just full on attack. 3 hits, 149. This should do
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
nothing. Yeah. That was
Yeah,
a
he was just
pathetic
right-
boss. Okay. Someone's level 33 now. I missed 2, but someone. There we go.
Yeah, and I think this is the second run that that Ale was talking about. So I think you should be able to get through Carrie and most of this next floor. And disrespecting Carrie, I love it. Probably at least throw a
Sorry.
fast out.
Sorry,
Yeah,
you
probably
made me
the
laugh
same
there. I lost what I was doing. Here we go. Okay. Oh! There we go.
Hey,
That
good
was-
thing we found those ribbons.
I know,
Yeah.
right? That could have been
Hey,
embarrassing.
Yeah, you might have had to have completely changed up your strategy against Carrie if Crack had landed on your black belt.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, I know what. I would have gone like, probably fast my white mage and start doing like swing with her and nuking with the black mage just to see if I can get through it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good call.
Mm-hmm. Maybe do maybe have the after the fast, maybe have the white mage. No, white mage has the white shirt, and I want to get the damage off of them. No, yeah, it's definitely. You weren't supposed to do that, but okay, whatever.
So I'd like to hear what Dark Moon's plan is for Kraken real quick before he goes there. I don't want to start talking and get blamed for him accidentally
You're fine.
taking the
You're
Kraken
fine.
fight.
You're fine. Well, first heal. Okay. Bring the meat shield up. Switch the meat shield to the front, and then probably do like that. And let me go double check my gear. Where is? Did I lose my power bonk? Did I accidentally drop my power bonk? I think I did.
Sure
Wow, I'm
looks like
dumb. I'm totally dumb. Oh well. Weapon. I do have the defense. I want to actually move the defense up. And here we go. So, fight, whatever. You mean just wait. It's not like you're going to do anything right now, dude. But sure, why not? Item, defense, and then item, white shirt.
Yep.
Take a round.
And so moving that defense sword up to that first slot there means you don't have to do any menuing. You literally just go to item.
Ow.
Ooh, nuke coming out doing mega damage.
Did that fast even get cast?
No.
Mm-mm.
So without that and the power bonk, it's gonna get kind of hairy.
Kind of dicey, yep. We're going to just
Yep,
go.
so I
Oh,
was
God,
just-
double
double
nuke.
what are the odds?
Wow.
right,
Okay.
We're gonna have to man mode this.
We
with our
are.
defense.
So no fast, no temper, but your first shot on Kraken 2 is 600 and some change. So I think for if we happen to need a second dive here, the proper opening play on Kraken is going to be
Swing
to,
him.
if you have your ninja up, just let him wait and then nuke,
Mhm.
punch, and fade.
Yep,
And nukety nuke.
yep. Well, we're going to see what we can do here.
Yep. I think you're fine. You've got the defense sword. You're gonna attack as is Tiamat. Luckily,
Okay.
7 hits, 39. Okay, got better turn order there. Fire 3 comes out doing.
Good. 2 of defenses should be
Good.
fine. We're going back to fighting
Yep.
now.
Lit 2's not gonna do much damage.
This is going to be close.
6 hits. Yeah.
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh,
Stun land.
Yep,
That's
that
rough,
sucked.
and that's
Okay.
the White. Yeah, probably would have been good to move. Well, we don't have the gold bracelet, so
No
even
gold
if
bracelet.
you move the ribbon around.
I'm going to go in just on the loose encounter right there, just with the soft reset of losing. And we're going to see what the encounters are like at this point.
Yeah, that's crazy. Double nuke Kraken.
Mhm.
Even with this kind of scaling, you just never know what's going to happen. I mean, the odds.
And you never know.
Uh,
Next time I face him, he may be punch happy and it doesn't even matter.
Yep. Or he may throw some skills at you.
Mm-hmm.
He may just see a bunch of like. You know,
maybe he'll have nuclear.
Come on, Ninja, you have one job. Nope. There you go. Thanks, Ninja.
did he really fail his run?
He really failed his run. Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
he's
he's only level 2.
and now he's
I know,
getting beat to crap for it. Yeah, take it, Ninja. You suck.
Hey, at least you got initiative this time, so you should be able to run away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's fine. He can die. It doesn't matter. And I got initiative here, too. Yay. Yep, wrong way. There we go. Come on.
Oh, take an encounter in that room.
That would be funny.
I don't think there are
Pretty
encounters in that
things.
room.
I don't think there are, yeah. Thank you.
I mean, there's a couple ways to find out.
Chat's talking about Final Fantasy VII.
Nah.
Why?
I saw 6 earlier. That made me happier.
Yeah. I love Final Fantasy VI. It's so good.
I mean, I like
We'll
Final
take this
Fantasy VII, don't get me wrong, but why are we talking about it? Okay.
Definitely some worms.
Hey,
Dean's already
Dean's level 8!
Let's,
Off a
let's,
single worm.
let's go, Dean.
Hey, here's a good XP fight.
Yeah, if we get it. No,
Nah.
probably not going to get it.
I was
Now that
gonna
I've
say,
killed
one of
all
those-
but one. Yep, there we go. Thanks,
I knew
Dean.
one of those Fire 2s wasn't going to land.
Yeah. Dean really hanging on with those 14 health.
Chat point out, at least we're not talking about Final Fantasy 13.
The game more linear than this one.
You mean You mean you don't like Vanille?
There we go. Let's... There we go. That's enough disrespect there. Okay, fight, fight, wait, fight. I don't have the katana on him. I need to actually
If
equip the
only we
katana.
had that katana.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, he survived a thunder. Go, Dean.
Go, Dean,
Go, Dean, indeed. Well done. Okay, and because of that, I'm gonna do another
Dexter
heal.
2 wondering what your issue is with lines.
What? Oh,
Dexter
because
2
of
wondering
linear?
what your
Yeah.
What's your problem with lines?
Weapon. Trade. Where is... Okay,
Yeah,
apparently
where
I
is your-
didn't get the katana because I'm dumb.
So you went back for the katana.
I
Your
did.
inventory was full.
Don't even
never-
try to understand what I do.
So you decided to drop the power bonk instead of the weapon.
Well, no. I did drop a weapon from there, but somehow I think I accidentally picked up something else, and then it just took up the slot. So
Yeah,
that
you
is
went
on
to
me.
Bottom
Yeah.
room first. To pick up
It's
the
on me
iron.
for not paying attention. So
I just wanted to take a minute to remind you again that you dropped the power bonk.
oh, thank you. I appreciate it so much. You're so nice.
I mean, on the plus side, it's not like we're at 500% scaling. So with
Yeah.
67 to 150, not having the power bonk probably not going to really ruin a run.
No.
Might make them take a couple rounds longer potentially, but probably that'll be the worst of it.
I still love how you didn't, no healing. We don't need to heal for battles.
I wasn't
Carrie
worried
2's
about
fine.
Carrie. She didn't show anything too scary to me the last time, so I didn't bother.
Yeah, we don't need carry too.
No. Kraken and this entire floor we're gonna actually heal up for. Because this floor can disrespect me very easily. So.
Suddenly
can
having
see.
all those levels on your white wizard seems like a good idea.
There we go. And I'm using the heal spell from them because there's not much else on that level that's really concerning me to keep for battle. And it's faster to do a couple of heal 3s than it is to try and heal pot up everyone.
Alright, so remember, because we know those 2 nukes are in the chamber, it is all full-on attack against Kraken. We're not playing around.
Nope.
And being all full on attack, I'm probably not even rearranging my party. I'm just
I
going
wasn't
right
planning
in.
on it. Yep.
Yeah.
Magic
Nuke and
Magic
fade.
fade. Okay, decent
And it
roll.
looks like, yeah, that wasn't too bad. 3 hits, 3 something
That
or
was
another.
bad.
Here comes Nuke. It's going to take down Dean.
Dang survived. Dang survived. Okay. Fight,
All right,
magic,
We're
nuke,
hoping
and then...
for good turn order.
That was... I did the
Oh,
Cure 4 just in case another nuke came out after they cast. I really want to make sure they survived.
Well, especially your white mage. You definitely want your white mage to
Yeah,
survive.
no, and that was my concern right there. So we'll do another couple of these. Thank you.
Alright,
It shares a level with Invis 1, which if I didn't have the white shirt, I'd want to, preserve. But since I have the white shirt, I'm less concerned about preserving the Invises.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Looks like we got a question in chat. What's your least favorite Final Fantasy game?
Mine?
I mean, I don't. Well, just any. I think it's more of a rhetorical, maybe
Okay.
to chat. I don't have one because I don't. Pretty much all the Final Fantasies I've played before, I've enjoyed. but I haven't played like the notoriously bad ones, like everyone talks about, like Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy. Which one was like was it like 12 that was like pretty reviled, like everyone hated?
No,
I don't know.
well, especially if you're playing Zodiac Age, 12 is pretty good. It was 13 is the one that pretty much everyone hates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I never played 8, and I know that was kind of one of the ones that either you loved it or you absolutely hated it. But I've heard that. I will say that I've never heard anybody say anything good about Final Fantasy 2. Japan Final Fantasy 2.
Yeah, no,
so.
the Final Fantasy 2 JP. Yeah. No, Final Fantasy 2 is an interesting one if you want to see like a precursor to the Saga series, but on its own,
Yeah, and Simple Sarah pointing out that Final Fantasy 2 worse in the series. DVOXS saying that Final Fantasy 3 Japan is the worst, which I've never heard anybody say anything bad about that game.
It's incredibly rude and difficult. So, it is incredibly rude and difficult, is the reason why.
But Onion Knights are the best.
I mean, there's some really interesting things to it, but if what you really want is the job system, you're better off playing Final Fantasy V in that regard.
Final Fantasy V is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
This game, 5, and probably 6. 6 for the story, for sure. I enjoyed 9 a lot. I found the story fine, and the characters were pretty funny. I know, right? 7 for me, I have never been able to play through 7 again since I beat it in high school. I've tried to play through it, and I don't know, man. I find it just doesn't captivate me the way that it did in 1998.
The best way I found to replay Final Fantasy VII now is watching someone else speedrun it.
Is that what it is?
I mean, the story of that game is nonsensical. So
that's my problem with it.
Yeah.
Is it really is nonsensical? Like it just like
Yeah.
you're like, what? Nothing makes sense.
But if you don't care about the story and you just want to play it for the gameplay, I absolutely love the materia system.
Yeah.
I thought gameplay-wise, that game was a lot of fun. It's just, yeah, it's it's one of those things where you're like, the story is kind of.
And we're gonna go on ahead and get our victory lap out of the way before we go on ahead and kill Chaos.
Just a simple one, since we were talking.
Demonstrating that linear victory lap.
So one of the few things I can do properly. There we go.
Yeah, so we're gonna go on ahead and just move everybody around, which totally makes sense here.
I didn't move the ribbon. I'm still hoping that my magic defense is going to be good enough, and that my defense in general is going to be good enough. Yeah.
It should be fine. Again, worst case scenario, we can always fall back on our white mage if things like really get ugly.
Yeah, I still have I don't think they're going to get that ugly.
No, I mean 15 hits landed, which is great. Just got to get a couple of temper stacks, and you should be able to take Chaos out.
Yeah, exactly. I'd spend a round using the power bonk here.
If I had it, thanks for reminding me. Sure.
I just had to get my 3 in. Okay, 3 is my allotment.
That was good.
Yes.
That was good. I liked it.
Yeah,
Rule
so
of
while
3.
the evade doesn't seem to be much of anything on Chaos does seem to have a bit of absorb.
He does.
As it was only 15 hits for 201. So a couple temper stacks should negate this problem here.
Yeah, this is just going to be my strategy throughout until I run out of temper stacks.
Man, Chaos did fast on himself and still only landed 1 hit on your white mage.
Yeah, I think we're 3 invis or white shirt cast in now, so that'll definitely kind of help that out.
No, I didn't mean to cure for you. You didn't take. Oh well.
Yeah, you got to make sure you get 628 to 628.
There you go. 13 hit, 16, 14.
Timer. AOL timer. There you go.
Look, I can only talk and hit buttons at one at a time. Okay.
But yeah, no, that was the thing. It's like I was getting so many hits in there, so as soon as the tempers got high enough, his absorb was just going to be negated at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can see, like 3 tempers in and 1,500 damage. So.
Oh man. So yeah, Dean was the MVP. Managed to survive pretty much all the battles except for the first nuke to the face from Kraken 2. So.
Second time's the charm.
Yeah, so overall, I'm glad to see all these Ducklings out here. We've got Bubblehead, Reese Wolf, and Veoviz, Sprocket's Dance out there, which is your person. Jonathan
wife.
Yoshi, I saw Dwight up there as well. So it's awesome to have you guys out here watching us do this thing, this kind of learning stream, and some names I don't recognize, like Sharptooth and Wayward Devil hanging out, as well as Don the Nintendo Freak. Hopefully, you guys will join the Discord. Hang out, play the Duckling seeds that we post weekly. The race will, or the seed should come out sometime tomorrow morning, depending on what the beta site's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, anything else we got for this before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I think just things to keep in mind for when we do run the seed this week. Remember, it is based on the spring tournament flags that we've all been watching and running collectively over the past so many weeks and months. So just remember that with the flags, the canal will be in a box. It is not a loose item. So you still have to find 2 loose items in addition to the canal. Whether the loose items are required or not, it's going to depend on, what seed we throw at you, what that dictates. But just keep that in mind, because I know that's been kind of a discussion point within the spoiler chats over the past couple weeks. Does canal count? Does it not? Depends on the flags. With these flags, no, it does not count. I think that's the biggest thing. Then the other thing is, you know what? Don't be afraid to sit there and check out your status screen. Like, if you're not really sure, like, how different armor or weapons, like, will affect your damage or your absorb, take 5 or 10 seconds, throw it on a guy, go to your status screen, see where it's at, and that'll kind of help you build up your game knowledge as well for when you run the same kind of flags in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really add anything more than what Ale already said. Just remember those things. Yeah, if you're confused about how much damage certain things will do because of the blur, just open up your static screen, equip it, unequip, see where the numbers lie, and then of course remember that canal is always going to be loose, and it's not considered a loose item or part of the loose pool. Dark Moon, you got anything else before we get out of here?
I mean, I actually really enjoyed this, despite, getting a little flustered and making some errors there that I probably wouldn't have made if I was playing on my own. It goes to that thing you were talking about of having someone that knows the game better than you do, helping guide you through a couple seeds and just talking you through stuff. I think long term, if we did a few more of these with me playing, I'd probably hit a zone with you guys talking at me while I was doing stuff and would just get past my flustering there. And I mean, I think the training would be better for me in general. There's some things that I could definitely do better just listening to you pros play. But I think that's a good idea. I think doing that for anyone new that wants to be a participant, that's going to be a really good thing. I learned stuff here today. I think all around it worked out really well. And whoever plays in the next couple weeks, I look forward to participating in this and seeing where this goes.
Yep. Sweet.
Cool.
All right. Well, I got nothing else. Make sure you join the Discord. Check out all the links and resources under the Duckling area. Say hi to us. Say hi to me. Feel free to PM me if you have any questions about anything as far as the, seeds or flag sets are concerned, or if you're having any questions. I mean, my PMs are always open. I know Dark Moons are always open as well. I don't want to talk for Ale, but, feel free to. I will talk for him. Just shoot him some lines too.
Absolutely. Whatever you want to send me, feel free. I'll do what I can to help out.
Yeah. So good community. We're always here to help out. So please join if you want to. Other than that, I got nothing else. Let's see you guys around. Yeah.